The arm of Rosedale is located to the north and west of Neepawa, stretching west to Franklin and north to Kelwood. The total land area is 865 square kilometers, divided into 6 wards, each with its own member of council. The arm of Rosedale Council sat as a board of revision this month to hear a property assessment appeal from a constituent. Other significant issues at the October meeting were around housing needs in the municipality, planning decisions, and staffing. The annual tax sale was also held but drew no bidders. Properties in Manitoba are reassessed every 2 years, and in most cases use the sales comparison approach to determine the property's value, which is based on recent valid sales within its neighborhood. Assessments can increase when improvements are made to the property, and the value of that improvement is not necessarily based on the cost of materials used to make it. That is the question at the heart of this appeal, which the council went in camera to discuss following presentations from both the constituent and representatives from assessment services. The appeal affects only the impact of this assessment on municipal taxes and will not influence any future assessments on the property. Council also reevaluated their participation in Valley Life, a seniors housing partnership. A recent survey indicated little interest within the Rosedale area at this time, and the general consensus within council was that there is a need for housing in the area, but they should formalize a commitment to housing through a strategic plan to ensure it will meet the actual needs of the municipality. In planning matters, council reviewed a request to amend a conditional use order to allow the construction of an additional building and the storage of additional automobiles on a property that houses a repair business, in order to bring its current state into compliance with the paperwork. There have been no complaints about this business or property as it is, and council was in favor of the change, though they did ensure that there remained a cap, albeit a larger one, on the number of vehicles on the property. Because the municipality is still seeking a shop foreman, the CAO has had to take on some of the supervisory and administrative aspects of that role. And so council looked at how some of the additional work might be redistributed until the position is filled. As well, council addressed a need to do additional backups of office records. Other general issues in the municipality this month included animal control regarding a repeat offender, donations to community requests, and the purchase of equipment and shop supplies. Following is the Rural Municipality of Rosedale's October meeting in its entirety.
Okay, gentlemen, at this regular council meeting, it means at 10:04 a.m. with the Reeve Carlson as its chair. Do I have a mover? Seconder? Robert? All in favor? Carried. Hold on.
We have a lot of stuff to get through today.
Pass me a little stabby thing. My turn. Yep. Okay. Be it resolved that the regular council meeting agenda for October 13, 2023 be approved as presented. Do I have a mover? Dave Tedder. Seconder, Ernie Schroeder. All in favor? Carried. The minutes of the regular meeting held, minutes of the regular meeting held September 8, 2023, and the special meeting held on September 22nd, 2023 be adopted into the clerk good. Do I have a mover? Ron? Seconder? Jeff? All in favor? Carried. That the council agrees to adopt September 2023 financial statements. Do I have a number? Seconder from Scott. All in favor? Okay, the council approves the accounts for the month and the amounts as follows. September 2023 general, 381,024.76. Water, 1,049.99. Have a mover. Second. All in favor? Carried.
Until 10:30, I guess.
Okay, committee report, Valley Life Housing Group,
Just a verbal.
verbal. Nathan.
We had a meeting on September 20th, I think it was, and it was just an update, what was going on with Valley Life. They're proceeding ahead. There's actually a Minnedosa group and the RM group, if you want, RM's group, I guess you want to call it. The RM group is probably going to be looking at the site in Poisoning to see if this is what needs to be built in Minnedosa. It's supposed to be November 2nd when it is. I won't be attending. I have previous commitments on that. I'm not sure if anybody else wants to go on, so we'll see what happens there. The other aspect of this is they want to do a presentation or an update to the people or the surveys. Back when it was people that put surveys in, as I said before, we had 13 people that put a survey in from our Rosedale. So we could either do a presentation at the Franklin Hall like we did before, or we could piggyback on 2 Minnedosa's. I haven't talked to any of the people that put in a survey. I was going to reach out to maybe Chief Flag or something, see what their opinion was. And if they are still interested and want to, still interested in this project or what their thought and feedback was, but I haven't got there yet, so I don't know what council's decision is, if we continue going forward at this point in time with the Valley Life, or...
I have to ask questions.
Yeah.
I didn't understand what you meant about the RM group. Are they splitting off formally?
No, they're 2 separate ones. Is that the Minnedosa group, they already were formed beforehand, and then this part of the RM group is also part of that too, but they seem to be running 2 different avenues with the same end goal, if you want to put it that way. There's a lot more investment in the Mendoza group because that's where they want it to be, right? And they want to see it go ahead.
Yeah.
So it's piggybacking off each other is what it is. So, but the Mendoza group has a lot more information quite more involved than the rest of us are. They seem to be involved first, and then we're second, if you want to call it, which is fine. Erickson, Clem William, or especially Tom Erickson, is very interested in this project going ahead. They want to see what happens in Minnedosa. And if the hub of the wheel gets built, if you want to call it, then they probably will spoke out. Erickson is very interested. Sandy Lake is another location that's very interested. But they're also a bigger community that have an infrastructure that could support an assisted hub group, if you want to call it a. So,
And Voice of Maine is going ahead with something?
Boise already has one built. It's up and running, built, and they wanted us to go there and have a look at design.
Oh,
They see that, okay, this design here, this building is, yes, that's 100% what we want, or, oh, the door should have been over 6 inches this way type of thing. Bad scenario, but you know what I'm getting at, right? So then the group is gonna go there, yes, it's a great facility, and that's what the design, the right for proposals to design would then go out after that. And that's something that's going to be happening probably in the upcoming months, where the right for proposal will go from the Valley Lake group to have a building designed and built. But
So we just received an invoice for $2,500 from Valley Life. Back in April, a resolution was struck to support with a $2,500 allocation. And then I guess I would like to understand from council if this is something that we would like to pursue moving forward. Having Dave's time and my time, and then I'm considering 13 of our Rosedale folks submitted survey and are interested out of 1,600. Because I think there's going to be a financial requirement moving forward from us to support.
Do I have time to make about 3 comments? I'm deeply concerned about housing in Canada, and I'm deeply concerned about the fact that, like all those projections that I read about for Western Manitoba, or Southwest Manitoba, like basically doubling our population. I worry about the housing pressures that are building up in bigger cities that are starting to trickle down into smaller centers, and I worry about affordability. And I think that we always seem to want to put it onto somebody else. And like, why isn't Justin Trudeau fixing all our problems? And I think it's on us. So for that part of my brain, I'm all in on supporting this, because to me, it's a trial market, and it's like, let's figure stuff out with low stakes. Let's not make $1 million mistake, let's make a $2,500 mistake and then learn from that one. And then maybe someday in 50 years, build something here. So I think that's an investment with risk. But I also think that it should, I think I said before, I think it should be coming out of VLT funds, not ratepayer funds. And that we should be putting $2,500, if we're putting money into the project, it should be via other tax money, as opposed to ratepayer money that's supposed to go towards our infrastructure. And I think 13 is a concerning number, but I think 13 is also, 13 residents, that's still a significant number of people that are interested in this kind of housing in a community where there's really only 1,600 people. And the demographics, like we're having this complaint / revision letter, that's a demographic that wants housing like this. And so I think it's working out, but I'm really concerned by the lack of formality. And I don't know how, again, and I'm just, because you were in meetings, so just addressing you, it just seems like we should have a more formal agreement. And there should be like financial statements or something, because I don't know where the money is going. And I personally think it's worthwhile, but I'm not so sure that we have the accountability backing to prove that it's worthwhile. And that's the end of my comment on that.
yeah, well, it's in the building stages, if you want to call it, even the committees and all that too, so that's probably forthcoming. They just got bank accounts and everything just set up here within the last month. So that's why the invoice came out, because there's no place, back in April, we agreed to the $2,500. But there's also, we were gonna give them the $2,500, but there's no place to put it, because they didn't have bank accounts and nothing. So there is stepping stones, they are building it, but it's, yeah, I know what you're saying, and more of that information could probably be clear coming forward, but it's gonna take some time. So we want to, like I say, continue on, being on the board or committee, that's up to council to decide.
Take for projects like this project, so we're gonna commit the money, they're gonna do preliminary work, but then engineering drawings and such will need to be created. That will likely come out of the group of folks to support the Valley Lake building. So if it doesn't go forward, the supporting group is going to be required, I'm assuming, to pay for those charges.
And my understanding, or my impression maybe, is that we get full access to architectural, engineering, design drawings, and that if we decide to do something locally, we are part owners of those documents.
It's already been done, the legwork's been done, so they're doing the legwork, this house is gonna get built. And if any community wants to branch out from that, be it wherever it may be it Elwood, be it Eden, if the infrastructure there put forward, yes, all that's there, the main part of the piece of the pie is done, if you want to call it, so.
So we can decide later as well, because we need to go through the committees that everybody's on, if we're not in the meeting, and reassign, because it's expiring next month.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So you
What do you think?
It's one of those things that it's hard to stomach it, not over here, but if we're gonna get those plans, they can be decided, once we get the right to drive those plans.
Well, I mean, it's usually use them, so then if you build, say, a 5-unit place in, we'll say Franklin, just because it is that way, then they actually could have a assisted living under four complex unit, and you could actually bring the food from Minnedos. The meals from Minnedos. Minnedos would be the hub, we could bring meals and everything from Minnedos.
We still have that here, there's a place that'll make,
At Kinsman's?
yeah, they'll supply actually.
Yeah, but then if you're doing that, you can't use that plant,
Well,
right?
that's what I mean, like, that's where I'm kind of towing in the middle, because this is where we are. You know, we want to use what we have, not use what they have.
So the units won't have their own kitchen access.
They'll have a kitchen.
Yeah.
Kitchenette, there'll be a main dining room.
Property,
So
so
they're working on
everything will be hauled from Minnedos.
So it's one of those things that you
If,
want to
if,
make
if
your
you're
own.
building, say, yeah, if it was in Franklin or pulling whatever, then you'd be using Minnedos as resources.
Right.
And then we branch it out to all the spokes, if you want to call it. But we will. And that'd be their housekeeping and everything else. Minnedos would be the main focus group, and there's just like little sub-stores, if you want to call it.
So if we were out by, say, Calwood,
Same thing, same thing, same thing.
from Minnedos.
Yep. I mean, at this point in time,
It's getting a little cold by the time we get down.
our infrastructure is what I'm getting at, to be able to build a facility, water and sewer is a big thing, right? So, you know, water and sewer, you know, where you're gonna go, Calwood, you got water, Eden, you got water, Franklin, there's water there, probably town water, you know, but if you're building elsewhere, you need that infrastructure, I guess, is the biggest key word.
Do I have time for a little vote?
Yeah.
Okay, I just sat through the public presentation of the Vermont's 50-year plan. And one of their 50-year plan items was developing housing. And it just seems to me like we have to decide that here, that comes to like sewer and water. Like, we almost have to, in our strategic plan, say definitively, do we want this type of housing in the RM, yes or no? And then that is the, oh, then we can say yes to this project or no to this project. But it seems like we're almost baby stepping without actually committing. And if we commit to, we want this, then we have to spend the money to get there. And if we commit to, no, we don't want it, then we shouldn't spend the money. And I'm not saying that if we commit to it and spend the money, I'm not saying it's gonna succeed or actually happen. But at least then we've got a finish line and then action stuff.
Yeah, at present date, we don't have the infrastructure going forward yet. Maybe the infrastructure should be built for some water and sewer that would have a bigger area for housing, if you want to call it, right? Be it residential, be it assisted living or whatever, right? You can build on that.
And the reason I was asking is because I know that you think we should have housing.
Well, yeah, like, we definitely need housing, no doubt about that. And there is, there's definitely homeless people, there's quite a few.
Yeah.
You just wait for 10 years.
Yeah, and this is just people, I didn't even know, like, I've been here how long, I didn't even know. There's quite a few.
Okay, we'll get a rough draft of the CAO's report.
So I just need council to submit their statements of assets and interest prior to November 30th. I'm assuming you guys did that last year as well. Just let me know if you need specific forms or what have you. Later on, I'll be asking for resolutions to register for MMA. Hotel rooms are booked currently based on the folks that let me know last meeting. But the registration is $400 and then additional information. So there's a spreadsheet attached further on in the agenda. The foreman position is posted. Heavy duty equipment operators, I think, are doing quite well. They're settling in, getting used to the scheme of things. There's some things that need to be purchased for public works, of course, to get prepared for winter, so we'll send those POs in. This past couple weeks when it was raining, there was lots of sign installations that went up. I think they did over 15 signs. So that's all done. We repaired the bridge on 84 West as well, and then have been working with the complaints that are coming in, I guess, via telephone or directly to the public works folks. There's some outstanding work that needs to be done, some chargeable, some not. So I know some driveways need to be graded. and then some bush needs to be pushed, so we're waiting more for breeze up to push the bush, depending on if it's like a swampy area or what have you. So there's a list of outstanding tasks there in the CEO report. Landfill manpower has been problematic, so we're looking for somebody to operate Elk Ranch on Saturdays. We have some backup folks, but we've been moving those folks around between other landfills. So this Saturday, we'll have to find somebody to open Elk Ranch for us. Our backups are covering the other two landfills.
I can do it again if you want.
So if anybody knows anybody that wants to be a backup or be an on-call person in case somebody's sick or they have another event at either Eden or Kelwood, just send in your names and we'll get a hold of them and see if we can get them in the mix. I reached out also, the e-waste also got picked up and sent to Evergreen Landfill from Kelwood. I also reached out to Alonza in regards to the Bear Landfill project. They forwarded me on to ODK Engineering and I haven't heard back from them yet. I did follow up again with Alonza to get some clarity on if we could actually join, and she wasn't able to provide if we could or we couldn't. So I think I have to call ODK to understand if we can actually get in on that project. Right now, Loveland and I are going through all the Municipal training, so all of the modules that we currently utilize, receivings and payables and receiving and utility billing and such. So I have some more training next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we'll go through some of those things. So we've learned some neat tricks and some things that we didn't know the program was capable of. Of course, we have our tax sale this meeting, as well as an appeal from assessment. So that'll be good. My first time through. I received the packages from Rosedale on 10 and 20 DFA sites. So I'll send them to DFA to make sure all of the expenses will be covered for those projects. I think they came in at more work than Burns had originally thought it was going to be. I spoke to Chris Reynolds at Crowns as well. So he had provided some information to me as well, so I can share that with you guys at a later time. And then of course we have some phone calls coming in where people want to do some work on their own or what have you, so I'm reaching out to those folks to gain clarity on the work that they actually want to do and where. Just haven't received any information back. And then also a complaint on the railway system in Franklin. They're blowing their horn for too long, so I did investigate that with transportation, and it looks like we would have to ask for a cease order if we wanted to accommodate the ratepayer. I don't think that they can lessen the amount of whistleblowing that they do in that area. And then, of course, in regards to animal control, the cows were out again. So we sent a letter and a fine this time because it's probably the 10th complaint that we've received.
How much is the fine?
$1,000. This is the second fine that's been issued.
And Melissa, I have another one now, animals.
Oh, shucks. Cows as well?
Yeah. Just moved in here about 2 weeks ago in the Mountain Road corner there. Yeah, Catherine, I don't care about, I mean, I should say I care about animal too, but I just hope nobody gets hurt.
Yes. So
Over these little things.
we should send them a letter.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, if you just give me the details, we'll organize that.
yeah.
Store?
Mountain Road corner where the store used to be.
Right there.
Yeah,
It's
it's
not a problem before, there years ago.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. How much was the fine, the second fine?
$1,000.
Another $1,000?
The first fine was
The
$500.
first was
Yeah,
right.
and then we've got multiple phone calls, and I spoke to the individual verbally as well. And then more complaints came after that conversation, so then we wrote another letter and issued a fine.
I drove by there, wow, it's probably been 2 weeks at least. And it looks like the wire that the cattle were on the west side. And the fence looked like it was all up and the gates were closed actually, because when you and I went by, everything was wide open and everything was down. So I don't know, it's all good, but not.
No, it's on the, if you go to the west, you go west a half mile.
Yeah.
Getting on that,
On rates.
On rates. That's where the problem is. And when I got a complaint, or 2 complaints actually, I went for a drive just to see.
Oh, yeah.
They were up in the nice alfalfa field.
Yeah, on top of the hill there.
Back in the corner there, grazing ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you ever keep those cattle in, no, they bail over the fence just like deer.
Oh, yeah, they will, yeah. They've been doing that for years,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, there's not much of that there.
No, but it was kind of.
Yeah, there was some attempt at work being done, don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
But some of, to the west of where the issue is now.
I believe it, yeah. Yeah, that was all that I never heard of.
Now, you had done some work on
What did you?
It's right
finding a
here.
facility
On
to,
that
I
side.
would say impound.
And then
Is that
get something
the
else.
next step?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the next step.
Whatever.
Yeah, no, all of it.
That's a big next step.
It has to be done.
Yes.
This is why it came to this, so.
Yeah.
It's a challenge. Next step.
I talked to myself, you know what he's like, oh,
They're here.
Are they here?
Something up by the doorway.
Something went by the doorway, I didn't know if it.
It's too bad, kids like that.
oh, yeah. I told him, I said, just get rid of them, you can't look after them, I said, everybody else keeps their cows.
I know.
I said, I don't want to, I can't say, I shouldn't say that, but that's what I did.
So is it your name that I put for the assessor?
Yeah, we're both here as, we'll both be sworn in.
I think we can continue, we're just waiting on Mr. Elke.
Oh,
Del
okay.
Keely.
So is there anything more about the CAO report?
Does anybody have any questions?
Any applications for the public works one?
Yeah, we've had a few and then we're interviewing as well, but it's still open.
Okay.
Yeah. If anybody has any suggestions on an alternate place to post, just let me know. So currently it's on the Manitoba Job Bank. It's on Brandon, it's at Westlake, it was in the banner, it's on our website and our Facebook page, and then I had just shared it personally on my own, hoping I could get
Exactly, yeah.
some folks to be interested, but I don't know if there's a board in, maybe in the Meadows that we could post, or in Gladstone, Carberry,
Sure.
if you guys are aware.
Sounds like you got most of the bases covered.
Yeah,
anyway.
I got it covered.
So I'll have to be on the camera for this one anyway, so we can skip to any thought. Auxiliary Health Authority support.
Oh, yeah.
Expensive.
Depot area health auxiliary support request.
Good discussion.
That's for the fire truck.
Is
For some of those on the other down low.
okay.
They're just requesting a donation.
I think it's too much down, like they have $20, $20 I think.
So did everybody go over this, Depot area health auxiliary request? They're looking for a donation. Did we give last year?
80 cents a person? I could be wrong. Believe that's what it is for.
Okay.
It's a per capita thing.
Yeah. Okay.
1,600, so it'd be 1280.
1280 for.
That number sounds good.
Yeah.
It's just that I've heard the number before, not because I did that.
So,
DOTs?
yeah, do you guys want to do 1,200 for the number, so it's 200 out of each DLT?
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't write that down for you.
We, the council of the Arm of Rosedale, grant Gateway Area Health Auxiliary support of $1,200 to support the enhancement of the health and care and service in our area from VLTs. Do I have a mover? Ernie, seconder, or Scott? All in favor? Carried. All right.
So I think we can break for the appeal process. Sorry, I'll need, what's your name? Sarah Anderson. I just need to put it here.
Yeah. Order and
So we're gonna go to the
the council of the Harlem Rosedale, or of the rural municipality of Harlem Rosedale convenes at 10:30 a.m. to sit as a board of revision to hear the appeals regarding the 2024 assessment roll with Carl Sensic as chair, Winston McDonald as secretary, to the board, and Lisa Potcher, and
Sarah Anderson.
second, sorry, assessors in attendance. Do I have a mover? Dave Putter. Seconder? All in favor? Carried.
Our house today.
Yeah, so I don't know what it is, yeah.
Yeah. This is possibly in there.
Yeah.
And you need it,
So we're just gonna swear everybody in. I don't know if everybody wants to swear in a Bible, if they just want to affirm. So what I would ask is that everybody affirm the evidence that they shall give is the truth and the whole truth and nothing but the truth.
Are you?
So we can begin. So I think I will begin by reading the applicant's statement. So David and Joanne LQ are submitting an application for revision of the amended taxes for 2024 to their property in the Arm of Rosedale. Land location for the revised tax assessment is Southeast 221716 West and roll number 168200. We feel the assessment and taxes imposed on the property is unfair and unjust. We made a very proactive decision to build a carport structure to protect our vehicle from future hail and wind damage to our vehicle. We have had hail damage twice to our vehicle in the past 2 years. There was also a fallen tree on a vehicle causing it to be a total write-off by MPI. The claim and repair for the hail damage was in excess of $5,600. By building the carport, we will prevent future damage claims from hail and other nature severe weather. We feel we are being unfairly taxed and punished for being proactive in our decision of trying to protect our vehicle. The addition of $183 of taxes and an added $88 to our insurance premium are an overreach by all parties involved. The basic services provided by the Arm of Rosedale and the province have been substandard and lacking in this area. Road maintenance has been lacking and unpredictable during the winter months. Hydro and telephone services is also not always reliable. Cell service is poor and almost non-existent in this area. These are serious safety concerns, and health issues can be very stressful. We are senior citizens wanting to enjoy retirement. We are very concerned that the excessive taxes are becoming unbearable during this difficult time and influential times. Please reconsider how the RM is taxing us and all residents in the municipality. From David and Joanne Gilkey.
I think that was inflationary.
Inflationary, yeah, I can
So, is there information that you would like to apply to your application?
And just what's stated there? Or?
Yeah, if there's any more than
Well,
what's
yeah,
on state.
I just feel that we're just, anytime you try to do something and there's just, every time you add taxes to something, the services keep dropping or just don't exist there. I feel that's just not appropriate for people in this region. I see other people building stuff and they're complaining too. We go to church, we find people are complaining about stuff that's just not acceptable by the province or the municipality. So I don't feel that we have to be taxed on everything. That, like I said, I was being proactive by preventing more damage to my vehicle, and now they're taxing me. You know, it's unacceptable that thing. You try to prevent something to save the province and municipality some money, and basically that's a punishment for, you know, trying to improve my situation there. Hail's uncontrollable, hail damage, trees falling. I mean, I live in an area where there's lots of trees and stuff, so I had no place to, when that hailstorm was coming a couple of years ago, I had nowhere to hide my vehicle, so I parked it under a tree so the hail wouldn't get it. Well, the tree falls on my vehicle, you know. So I built a place to protect my vehicle, and now, you know, there's a $200 tax on it, and insurance rates have gone up, so you're looking at $300 per year, and that's gonna go up. So in 5 years, I'll probably pay for that carport 5 times over. Like, where does that end? And when I called the provincial assessment in Mendoza, I believe I spoke to Lisa a number of times, and it cost me about $4,500 to build this carport. Basically, it's a roof, a metal roof with 4 or 5 posts, and I mean, they assessed it at $17,000. Like, that's a big difference from $4,500. So I can't see that. That's not justifiable. You know, sort of thing. So in 5 years, what is it going to be? 5 times $17,000. The carport's still really worth only $5,000. So that's where I stand with that. I got some questions about. I got bad knees. I might be going for surgery soon. I might need a ramp, for a wheelchair ramp or something to access my inside the house or outside. Are they going to come and tax me to that and that too? Like, you know, that's going to be a health problem for me. So like I say, if there's no compassion around here, then I guess. That's I guess where it stands. I can't get a doctor here. My wife has to go to Brandon or Winnipeg for doctor's appointments. I'm not 40 years old. I'm going to be 71 in a month or so. My wife's going to be coming up that age pretty soon too. So it's a challenge. And road maintenance, we put gravel down in our Road 92W, I think almost 3 months ago. There hasn't been a grader on there. It rained there a few weeks ago. We couldn't make it up the hill because the gravel was all on the shoulders, got washed out, or just get beaten off to the side, and it's like a piece of glass going up that one hill. Unfortunately, it is what it is. But still, somebody should come and maintain that road, make it accessible in case of emergency. You know, fire, ambulance, police service cannot come out or go up and down that road because that's, you know, they're just not, it's unacceptable what's going on, sort of thing. And I feel that there should be better things being going on. And if I called the RM, I don't know, 3 or 4 days ago to maintain that road, to put some gravel back on where you drive. I can't drive on the shoulders all the time, and nobody showed up yet. And winter's coming, so first snowfall, it gets icy. We'll never make it up the hill. I mean, I got all-wheel drive vehicles, but still, it's sometimes it's unbearable that way. Last year, 7 days, we couldn't get out of our road, even to Mountain Road. Mountain Road was plugged, 92W was plugged for 7 days, that's a long time. If I had an emergency, a medical emergency, there's no place for a helicopter to land if I had to get out of there or something. So that's where I stand on that thing, and just taxing people to death, you know, it should be unacceptable. I mean, I don't know how you assess properties, but there should be some different system to go about this thing. Services are not being provided. I lived in Winnipeg with 500,000 people. You know, I mean, services were there. I was within 4 minutes of a police, fire, and ambulance station. So I mean, and my taxes were probably a third of what I'm paying here. And I had a fairly new home too, sort of thing. So I don't know where you guys structure your tax and assessments from, but I think it should be looked at. And like I say, that's kind of where it is right now, sort of thing. And we love the area here and everything. I grew up in a country just north of here, about 80 miles. And like I said, I don't want to leave this area. It's a nice area, but we have to be a little bit more conscientious of how we treat our taxpayers here. Like I say, the services I provided, assessments, I don't know who determines that. I got a feeling that this new government in there is going to be even worse, because that's how they operate, sort of thing. So hope you hear me out and see what happens. That's all I have to say.
Okay.
So the assessor can provide evidence.
Okay. I thank you for your time. My name is Lisa Pottinger. I'm an assessor with the Minnedosa Assessment Branch.
Thank you.
Farah joining me today is my district supervisor. She works out of Minnedosa, Souris, and Brandon. So as Mr. Ilkew stated, he built a new carport on his property. The property in question is 90 acres of predominantly bush and scrub, with 2 acres of Granville clay loam, which is his yard site. The total assessment on the property is $384,600. Which Mr. Ilkew told me he felt that the assessment was reasonable in one of our conversations. The property also has a 384 square foot cottage and a double detached garage built in 2002. You can see pictures there of the property and where it's located. We use the sale comparison method to set assessments. So for the reference date of April 1st, 2021, we use sales up to and including that date in order to set the rates for assessment for every property, because not every property has sold, but we take like properties and we compare them and we use those numbers. So you'll see on page 5, I have a comparison of some properties in Rosedale that have sold in that reference period. Some of them have more land, some of them have more square feet. It's hard in an area that has, you know, a certain number of sales. So taking those 3 properties into consideration, I've taken the square foot of living space and divided it into the sale price and come to $241 to $364 per square foot of living space of each of those properties. And you can see that the subject property, Mr. Ilkew's property, falls at $273.35, which is in our estimation, acceptable range. So we are asking that the board confirm the assessed value of Mr. Ilkew's property at $384,600.
So I believe the applicant has, could provide evidence now in relation to the assessment of the property. If there's anything additional that you'd
Well,
like to add.
Can I just question
Yep.
the assessments? There's some properties, right, one's on my road and one's back a few miles by Big Valley there, like, what they're asking for this property is astronomical, it's almost stupid. One property has 140 acres, nothing, it's a gravel ridge, it's falsely advertised, and they're asking 297,000 for just 140 acres of the worst scrap land that I have.
And that's why we don't use ask
Okay,
price,
but
we use
I
sale
know,
price.
but that, there's intentions now that that might happen. Then in a property, Big Valley there, that's got a house that's, I think, 40 years old, just a couple of sheds and stuff, there's only 11 acres, and they're asking 537,000? That's over $500,000. Like, that's almost stupid also, that's, to me, that's crazy. So
So
if you're-
people can ask anything they want for their
I know.
property, it's what they sell it for.
Yeah, I know, but then again, that also has influence on what my property is being assessed to. So if you're looking at, somebody looking at, to buy this property, they'll look at other assessments and say, you know, wow, it must be worth a lot of money. Well, if you're assessing it that way, that's not a way to do it either. To me, that's just how I look at it.
Okay, yeah. Well, like I say, we don't use what people ask, we use what people pay. And every sale that goes through every sale that comes through land titles comes to assessment through land titles. We take the information we're given, we phone and confirm that information. We don't just take what comes through land titles. We investigate that sale to make sure it's not a sale that was arranged, say, 10 years ago with your neighbor, or something you made a deal on going back a ways, or ahead a ways, or based on Uncle Joe's promise to the neighbor. Every sale is investigated to make sure that it's a valid sale that we can use for assessment purposes, because some people have not an ulterior motive, but a motivation to buy a certain piece of property. Maybe it's right beside your home quarter. Maybe it's got gravel that nobody else knows about. So that's why we investigate every sale, to make sure they're a valid sale. And if they're not, if it was a motivated sale, if it was a deal made at a different time, we don't use those for sale comparison.
Well, can I say something? Like, why would his carport, for instance, if it cost him $4,500, would be assessed at $17,000?
Again, it's not based on what it costs you to build, because you could pay $1 million to have a carport built. It's not going to add that for assessment. It's what the sales hold out that would add in value to your property.
Yeah, go ahead. I just want to clarify something. So, because I'm new here,
Yeah.
I've never seen one of these before. So I just wanted to clarify on the class liability, the 11T.
Yeah. So 11T is residential.
Okay.
It just means that he has land assessed as residential. T means taxable. And the building assessment is 36401. That's total buildings there. So there's the garage, the house, and the cottage.
Okay.
For a total 11T assessment of 358.2.
And then the 30T
30T is
is,
farmland.
okay.
88 acres of bush and scrub, assessed at 26.4. And the grand total doesn't appear on yours, but it's 384.6.
And then it was a supplementary, so on the next page, 2023 supplementary taxes pending. That's the carport. That-
So the appeal today is both on the 2023 supplemental tax. Because his carport was over a prescribed amount, we send to the RM a supplemental tax notice that the RM then passes on to the ratepayer. And then subsequent to that, the 2024 assessment that he's appealing. So that's what those two things mean there.
And you're not arguing with the original assessment?
No, I'm fine with that. The way she's stated that per square foot, the house is worth that. I know what homes are worth. I did construction in big cities or this. I know what takes to build a house. But when I start adding this and that, and you just keep adding the taxes on top of that, then that becomes overwhelming. Like, I was just gonna ask her, if I build a wheelchair ramp, if I need one soon, is that gonna be taxable?
No wheelchair ramp is not.
Okay,
Same as the steps up onto your deck. It's an ingress to your home.
so a rope and a wouldn't work, as a place of a step or something.
Well, if you want to put a rope, you could.
No, I say that the carport was something that
Yeah.
I did to improve, to protect my assets, which is my vehicle,
Right.
basically. And to me, somebody's punishing me for protecting myself. It's like having a guard dog. I don't know if you tax guard dogs or not, I'm not sure. You know, but there's no limit to that, it seems. Anytime you do something to save something or to save other people, you know, money so that it doesn't cost them that much to maintain things, right away the tax people are in there. Like,
From an assessment standpoint, the carport is a benefit to his property and a benefit to the sale price eventually, and a benefit that he's enjoying for how many years to come.
and benefit to MPI, because they wrote two vehicles out. They had to, Pyramid Auto in Municipal had to basically knock off $800 so I could save my car from being written off. So they were at a loss, and Autopack was at a loss, so I'm saving Autopack a ton of money for the next hailstorm that's coming. Now I'm protecting 3 vehicles, or 2, I have no room for 3 vehicles. So, you know, to me, that's just not fair. I'm helping somebody else, I'm doing something to help somebody else, and I'm being taxed for that. That's not really justifiable, in my sense.
Yeah, if I could just ask a quick question over here with the process. So when he appeals, or this is the appeal today, to the supplementary tax, so if we, and I'm not saying, like, if we say no, we're not going to let this, it goes through, he has another
Yes.
way. And what is that? What's the next step up? If we don't rule in his favor,
He can appeal.
you can appeal our
Yeah.
decision. And then as we have authority to say, we agree with you, and override the assessment register,
Based on
Is
the
that-
information, based on the evidence provided today by Mr. Ilkew and Ms. Longer, then we can make a decision based on the assessment, what have you, what direction council would like to go, and then Mr. Ilkew could appeal that further.
how much does that screw up your ratios and your, like, how often does that happen? How often does the town council or an RM council like this agree with the ratepayer against your advice or yours?
Only 22 supplemental, 24 were under appeal. So regardless of how you guys rule, it doesn't really affect our world because we are legislated in the cycle that we use and the rates we set. So irregardless of how you decide today, whatever you decide for 24 will be carried through for 24. Whatever you decide for his supplemental 23 will be applied. It doesn't affect us because 25 is now a reassessment year again, where all properties across the province will be again reassessed based on the sales comparison approach. So there will be new rates. Values may go up, they may go down. And that will be applied to the property the way it is. Across the board for the municipality, and again, then that resets your tax setting based on the total value of assessment that you have to work with for the next tax year. So it really doesn't, like, your only job in the Board of Revision is to ensure that your ruling is made fair and equitable within your municipality based on the evidence provided. How you decide, that's entirely up to you as a board, and you'll make that decision once we leave.
Yeah. And can I clarify my understanding on one more point? I just want to make sure. My understanding how the system is working is that you are independent third party, one step removed from the council, and you are trying your best to make sure that across the board, every property is valued with the same lens, so that everything is as fair as possible across the entire province.
Yes.
And that we are responsible for, this is how much money we need to run the RM, so therefore this is what our budget is. And then we use the mill rate factor, which is just simply math. So we take your assessment, a mill rate factor to come up with the number, because the only number that really matters is what we spend, right? And then you're supposed to, as a ratepayer, you're supposed to pay your share based on the third party. So then this is just to make sure, this is a check to make sure that we don't think you are being unreasonable in your assessment. Am I correct on that?
Essentially, yeah.
Thank you. I'm done.
I have another question then, I guess for the assessment board. So if my carport in 2 years' time, when it gets reassessed, when the land becomes reassessed on my property, if I make that become a garage, I put 3 extra walls on it and a garage door, is that gonna get reassessed again? So from a carport, I consequently go to a garage style of building. Is that being taxed again?
Garages are assessed, it may not change the value. We wouldn't know it until we actually put it to a garage.
So what's on average, what's a garage, 2-car garage assessed at? 'Cause now I know that a carport's $17,000+. Is the garage gonna be $175,000? Well, at that rate,
I mean,
it sure looks like it.
If you were in construction, you know how much more it costs to build a garage, put the walls in. It's not, if you don't have it insulated, you don't have a floor in it, it's just 4 walls and a door. It's not gonna be a whole lot more, right?
I can't believe that. That's why I'm saying, there's no positive thing about that. You know, I'm trying to, make things better for me and other people involved for protecting my assets, like I said before. You just keep, to me, that's a punishment almost. So I don't know how you look at it. I talked to a property lawyer in Winnipeg, who's a good friend of mine, and that's why I went this route. He said, you have a good case for what I can see, sort of thing. So they say, when they assess that carport at that rate, then that's, to me, that's, he even said that you go forward with your appeal and see where it goes. That's all I have to say. I like to know what a hay shed, 60 by 100 feet would be assessed. Same thing, just a roof and some poles to protect your bales or hay or whatever. So you don't have that
Off the
answer
top
for
of my
me?
head,
No,
I can't
okay.
come up
I'm
with
just
it.
comparing
but yes,
what
we
that
can
would be
give you
worth.
an
I mean,
estimate.
We're
of
gonna get off
anything.
the topic here.
Today we're here to assess the
Assess
property.
the property, so.
But I think that's a fair question.
Not-
Well, yeah, I just want to know where all this is coming from. Somewhere it's
Yeah.
gotta be.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
I
it's
get
all
it.
in legislation, which is open to the public, you're welcome to go read it. And Winnipeg is assessed based on the same legislation, but they have their own assessment authority,
Yeah. I know
right?
that.
So,
All right.
That's all I got to
Yeah,
say.
if there's no other, then we'll adjourn from this and we'll have our own meeting about what our decision is. Okay, thank you for coming.
Thank you very much for hearing me out.
Yeah, no problem, thank you. Have a good day. Thank you. We do now join this board revision at 11. AM. Reconvene the regular meeting. Do I have a mover? Okay, Judge. Second, Cross. All in favor? Carried.
So then at this time, you guys can choose to make a decision, table, we can do it later on in the meeting, whatever you like. We also have a public meeting scheduled at 11, so whatever council would.
Steve, what's going to move forward with the next meeting here?
Table this for
We'll
now?
table this for now, okay.
Okay.
All right.
Sure. All right.
So now that we're in regular meeting, we're gonna adjourn again. To a public hearing, if anybody needs to go to the bathroom or what have you, go now or.
Oh, it's you again. It's me again.
Are we tabling it for later, for later on today?
Yeah. Because they're here now, so what we do, exactly. Keep moving it back forward.
Sorry. We do now adjourn the regular meeting with council at 11:02. 3 p.m. To hold a public hearing regarding conditional use request by Cliff and Twilight's Reason on Northwest 3-17-15 West. Do I have a mover? Oh, sorry, Robert's calling that. Seconder? All in favor, just wait till Robert gets back. Okay, we do now adjourn our regular meeting of the council at 11:03 a.m. to hold public hearing regarding conditions use required by Cliff and other reason on Northwest 3-17-15 West. I've already got movers. All agree? Carried. Now we gotta wait for the CD.
Great, she goes back, then I'm gonna go.
Oh, start blocking, but Jeff blocked that. Go ahead.
So you guys keep leaving, I'm gonna have to ask them for lunch soon.
High school, you can't go to the bell rings.
Can I ask you a question before she comes?
Yes.
What is the size minimum for a house construction in the Neepawa area of London?
Neepawa is 800 square feet, and Rosedale's is 7, I think.
700 even?
Yeah.
Okay. And if somebody wants to do a tiny home, like in the 500 to 600 foot range, they would apply through you and then it would come to here? Is that kind of?
Well, anything under that size would have to get the size variation to reduce it, yeah.
Okay.
Tiny homes are tricky ones because they're mobile end of it.
This one would be,
Like if it-
I'll call it a bachelor shack then, because a fixed foundation.
Okay, yeah, I guess when I see something as a tiny home, I'm thinking the ones that are built on trailers and they're called. But if it's a tiny home with on a foundation, yes, we would have to vary the size down from that to whatever it is.
Okay,
We're ready?
you're ready.
Excellent. So this is application CU 002-2023-R, the owner of the property Clifford and Twilight's Friesen. Applicant is Cliff Friesen, Friesen Diesel Repair. And it's affecting Northwest 03-17-15 West, specifically being 96-155, PTH number 5. And the question is a conditional use, and there's 2 parts. The first one is to allow for the intensification of the existing use as a repair shop. And the second part is to allow for the location of a vehicle wrecking and storage facility within the AG Agricultural General Zone. And the reason it's supported is to facilitate the construction of a new cold storage building for the existing repair shop and to bring in conformance the storage of wrecked vehicles for the purchase of salvage and sales of parts for the existing repair shop. I guess just a bit of background history. Obviously the business exists. So when Cliff established it originally, in the zoning bylaw, those type of uses are a conditional use. So this was reviewed by council and approved at one point. When you expand on them, like adding a building or enlarging, it's required to follow that same process. So we follow the same process. A notice has been submitted to neighboring properties. Yeah, so now Mr. Friesen's expanding on the business is good and he wishes to build a new building. And the vehicle wrecking part is more than that. Now this is, so on the original approval, there was conditions placed on it. One was being that no more than 20 vehicles are to be stored on the property at any time. That has exceeded 20 vehicles. So we thought we'd take the opportunity, so we're calling it a vehicle wrecking storage, and that's just how the wording supports it in the zoning bylaw. I think the vehicles are primarily used for this. I don't think it's your typical vehicle wrecking. It's more the vehicles are used right now for the repair of the vehicles and the repair shop within it. So to some degree, its use is incidental to the repair shop, but just to make it happy with the way the zoning works, they're coming for the approval. Just thought we'd make it all in line at this one time. So with that circulation, I've received no concerns from any neighboring property owners. So.
And those number of vehicles have exceeded 20 for quite some time now, is that correct, Cliff?
It's been a while now, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, originally it was in 2017 was the original approval, July 2017.
So your expansion is going from whatever you got unlocked, is it going to exceed 1,000?
No, it's not, I don't think it'll really get bigger than it is now. The biggest thing is, what I think it'll probably get less with, but if I put up this cold storage, I actually want to dismantle the trucks and put them in the building, then once they're going to sell the parts, sell the stuff for scrap, right? I don't think it'll gain much from what's there now, as in vehicles. It's more, I want to be able to put the parts in the shed, and once, right now I'm actually putting all my parts in the cabs of the vehicles, because no place to put the parts, so they have to keep all the wrecked vehicles on the yard and put all the parts in the cabs. I'll take those parts and put them in the shed, and then I can sell those vehicles and clean the yard up. Clean the yard up more than it is now, so that's kind of my plan. Keep it a little more organized and stuff like that.
Do we have protections, like, I'll just bear with me, do we have protections like for appearances and good neighborly kind of stuff, like in terms of keeping the yard in order, or is that just a handshake thing?
Well, that's what I was going to say. I was going to actually recommend, so with the conditional use, you could place conditions, like if you have concerns with number of vehicles, you could require it to be fenced or concealed in the, if those are concerns. The zoning bylaw wouldn't specifically have I'm just trying to think of, I think there's a number that it indicates of how many vehicles are considered under that reckoned establishment, right? Obviously, it's exceeded that, but if there was concerns of the sightliness and the number, now is definitely the time to do it as a condition of the approval. That was one thing I was going to mention to Cliff. I was going to recommend is that, vehicles are concealed to council's approval or something, or appropriate cover, just more in the fit, like, Mr. Friesen may have good intentions, but he could sell it. And if anybody buys it, they could fill it up, right? So,
Right.
Those would be just items that you may want to consider.
If in 5 years, can we make a motion saying adding something to it, or is it whatever's put in place today is what sticks?
Well, I guess you could put a timeline on it. The hard thing is the timeline is who keeps track of it. 'Cause obviously we have a condition on it before, and like I say, we all deal with many different things, and until it becomes a problem, it's never a problem, and then you start looking back at old files and you see, oh wait. So that to me, it's hard to put a timeline on it. You definitely can revisit it, but it's a matter of how we document it so that we keep track of it in 5 years or 10 years or something, right? So
Right.
yeah.
I do have that privacy fence up now, I put up a fence or to conceal them, whatever, to make it look a little prettier, but I didn't do that, but.
Yeah, and so obviously, like I said, no one's ever brought it up to concern from the area, or I guess it's never been posed as an issue prior, right? So, like, obviously if it was, then we probably would have looked back at the file and had this discussion earlier. Yeah.
And you're aware that your taxes will probably go up?
We're putting up another cold storage? Sadly, yes. We just, before this guy was talking, his taxes already didn't like him, right?
That's why I was just thinking.
Yeah, everybody ahead.
Okay, well. Just see something wrong with this. We will close this public hearing. We do now adjourn this public hearing at
11:12?
11:12. And reconvene to our regular meeting. Do I have a mover? Scott, second Earl. Gordon, all in favor? Carried. All right.
All right, so we've got to make a decision now or table till later in the meeting. But Jeff also has additional information to share with us in regards to the telecommunication tower.
Oh, right.
So it's up to you guys, whenever you.
Yeah, okay, thanks for your time.
Yeah, thank you very much. Do you guys wanna?
Well, we should have a little discussion about it, I guess it's not major, just appearance is one thing, right, making sure it's, things are kept tight, part of the conditional use, and maybe the number of vehicles, so we don't explode, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's got for a number, there's probably,
200?
yeah, I was gonna say you're probably pretty close.
Yeah,
I'm just maybe a little high, but pretty
Yeah,
close.
well, yeah, I guessed at that too, because when he talked to us, like, when
Like
they talked
behind
to us,
the
what he
fence
thought.
to the east there's a boatload back there.
Yeah, well, that's where I was talking about, not necessarily, like, he's probably got his 20 around the building,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
of trucks he's fixing.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
But it's pretty well kept, honestly, it's not,
Yeah.
it's
As
not,
long as it doesn't get out of hand.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, like, it would probably be at least, and I was kinda just thinking this morning, so I apologize if I didn't get it to you sooner, I was thinking like a condition of, yeah, like, I don't even think how to word it, definitely you would probably want to, whether it's just concealing it, right? All vehicles have to be, kept in a concealed, unconspicuous place or something like that, or,
because his fence is already there, he just, if he has to expand the fence or whatever, that would be like his.
yeah, like it's just like a windbreak off
Yeah.
the front, like there's nothing really around the sides, but he's done it.
His intention is right by trying to decrease the number of vehicles by putting up
Yeah.
more storage to hopefully get there. But
Right.
hopefully he'll get there before all of a sudden there's 1,000 vehicles up there.
Right, you're gonna say, like, even like something like this, we had the number in there originally, and like I say, we get busy and we forget, and.
Right.
But it gives the teeth that in the, say you say 200 today, and maybe he goes to 400, or he sells it and they go to 400, and if there is a concern, and it comes back to our office, at least we go back to the file and we, okay, well, what was, oh, look, right? It gives that teeth in the future that if it is a problem, we have the means of remedying it, because if it is.
So do we live in him at 200?
I'm thinking more like 500.
500?
That's, I mean, if there's 400 there now, honestly, from the roadside, I mean, like, we drive by.
there's now, Jeff, 200?
I guess the 200, without going in there, like I say, just driving by and looking, and.
Yeah, I would go
500 is pretty high.
But it's not unsightly, is what I think, we've got a lot of their properties in the RM that are unsightly and they're not
Yeah.
willing to pay more,
Yeah.
not willing to pay more tax, not willing to pay more tax on
Yeah.
making a building to make it nicer, so, I mean, we don't wanna limit a man's business or
Right.
person's business by a number, if he's willing to pay the tax and keep it clean to our standard, whatever
I
that
guess
is.
you could do it vague and without, screen to council's discretion, right? So that way in the future, if it gets out of hand and you deem it unacceptable,
So we could put a condition or say, let's go, say 350 vehicles with conditions of allowing more expansion as long as things are tidy.
yeah,
Is that too much?
I would just cap it at the 350 and then
350 and leave it there.
and then leave it, that anything, kept in an orderly manner to council's.
I guess my other question
Yeah,
about this
was there
one
any
is,
mention of the size of this cold storage shed?
Oh, it's it's around 6,000 square feet, 60 by 100 or something like that. It's
Yeah, there's no mention
So
in
it'll
here.
cover it.
We got stuff inside it.
am I missing a drawing, or is it not a drawing attached to this?
not for the new building.
Okay, because what about the site plan? Because to me, it's almost like 350 buses.
Yeah.
It's different than 350 half tons, right?
Yeah,
So is there a footprint there that we're talking about where we can say this many vehicles, but can also contained within this area? Or is it not, or is it a big parcel of land and I'm just,
That's an acreage, isn't it?
I think it's at least 10 or 20 acres of the land.
Be 10 to
It's
12,
about
10 to 15 acres.
because I'm with you, Earl, I don't want to stop it, I would prevent somebody from being in business. Like, I'm all in on economic development. Like, I think it would be bad to limit somebody from making money in the RM.
Well, and maybe a bit of a sidebar, but Cliff is a huge donator to the Keller Fire and Eden Fire Departments. So, just a side note mention, not that he should be allowed to break the rules, but he's not asking to break them, but he's a huge supporter of both fire departments. That's just something you guys maybe be aware of.
So I didn't,
Sounds like his fleet's gonna go smaller though.
Well, I think
Once
that's
he
what
gets
he's
the
like,
storage,
yeah.
he wants to start taking the parts off and then drop.
Well, storing the parts makes more sense than,
So that's all, and like you said, the only reason why he's keeping the vehicles is because he needs somewhere to put the parts in to keep them out of the weather.
300 mini sheds.
You know, that's about what it is, it's like, but once he gets the bigger facility, well, then these are gonna start to disappear, you know, they're gonna start leaving, and guys are gonna have them stripped down and.
And I have a real hard time, like, we bring in rules that we don't enforce, so you shouldn't have the rule, like, you should, if you're gonna have a rule that no one intends on following up on, is it actually valid, right? And if you don't have time to go out there with a clicker and count the vehicles.
yeah, I struggled with that for many years, because
Jeff,
we just do too many to physically be able to follow up on every approval, and it's just- we deal with so many things, like,
But we get a complaint, we've already have the numbers in there.
yeah.
Where if we don't have the numbers, it's a free rein.
Exactly.
That's the only sidebar of that.
I guess that's kind of what's my point of it, if they may get out of hand,
Yeah.
but if we have that limit where we can pull it back to, now's our chance, right?
Yeah.
I say, I don't have a
So what
site
do you
plan.
guys figure per count?
I like 350.
I'd be okay with that, because I mean, it's, because I mean, his plan is to limit the numbers.
350. Yeah.
Robert, 350.
That's what the rest like, yeah, I think he keeps a pretty good place.
I do too. I haven't seen really
I'm
much.
not trying to step on it.
But sometimes 50 more vehicles will make it look from looking pretty to not so pretty, right?
Yeah.
50 more.
Yeah, well, like Jeff said, if he sells it and the next guy gets in there and
Yeah.
just eats up.
But we gotta be a little bit careful there, because there is some farmyards around the
I
country.
know,
Yeah.
that are bad.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd say, I guess if you like, you could consider with approval, and one of the conditions that a site plan be prepared indicating where this is and the dimensions of it, and then that site plan can get filed in, like, and then it can be approved by, a site plan be prepared and approved by council, right? That could be a condition. And then he could make the site plan up showing, okay, my buildings are here, this is my area, I'm keeping my storage.
That's what I would like.
And then that goes in the file, and
We kinda got written here that, be a cap at vehicles of such and such, any further expansions require approval of council.
What, can we add in the site plan?
Yeah.
Because I think.
I like that idea
That's a
too.
great
Yeah, I
idea.
like that idea. It's just,
Okay.
it's more go down the road, more go down the road. I think Cliff is fine, but the next owner.
That's right, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we always gotta deal with everybody's intention's good today, but
Yeah.
somebody's is wrong tomorrow, right?
Right.
Just we get an extra 50 cars.
So a site plan be provided by the owner as per and approved by council?
Yes, that would be good, yeah. Then I can ask him for one and then bring it back or show it to council. If it's good, we throw it in the file, and then we have that.
Full background, that's gonna be.
Let me see. Okay. So our cap is still at 350 then, we would, okay. Whereas hearing is held on Friday, October 13, 2023, to hear representation for this conditional use request by Clifford Equipment by Reason on northwest 03-17-15 west. Now therefore, the council of the rural municipality of Rosedale approve the conditional use order request under the rural municipal Rosedale zoning bylaw 9-2018 as admitted to allow for the location of the vehicles wrecking and storage facility within the agricultural general zone, provided the following conditions are met. Building to be completed with National Building Code registration. A cap of 350 vehicles. Any further expansion requires approval from council. C, a site plan to provide by the owner and approved by council. Do I have a mover? Robert? Seconder. Dave? All in favor? Carried. Hey Jeff. Whatever.
I don't remember if this has come to council prior, or I guess it is now. There's a tower proposal.
Yeah.
I think it's in Roberts Ward. They're just down, so the northwest of 1615 West. So they've chosen a site. It is going out for public engagement right now, so I mean, so as a municipality, we don't have any specific rules on towers. So when the municipality doesn't have any rules, it falls under, I'm thinking it's a federal approval process that they follow. And then they will be submitting, like, through our office, they'll have to do a development permit, which will log the information received that they followed the government approval process. Right now, it's going out for circulation of the area, so it's going out to the neighboring landowners around it. It'll also be coming to council, a package will be coming to council as well for review as part of that, and I believe that's Robert's Ward, am I correct?
Yep.
Yeah, so you'll probably be seeing one as well. They wanted one specific to the councillor, and obviously my office will get a copy as well. So it hasn't been out yet, but I just wanted to bring it to attention that in case it goes out and some of the ratepayers are asking that there's a tower being proposed there, and
How big is the tower?
Thirty, 30 meters?
I don't have the height of the tower here. It's a communication tower like from Rogers, so it's well over 100 feet. I can't remember I don't remember what the cap is before it switches over, but I didn't bring that with me.
So currently council has a request to use the approach. So last meeting we had decided we could get them to enter into an agreement with us. So I had reached out to Jeff to understand what that agreement would look like, because we don't have anything on file, because they're just accessing our approach. So I'm not sure what requirements we put on them to drive across the approach to access their land.
Yeah, I don't have anything as far as I don't have anything as far as the agreements for the approach or the access. Are they asking for a new approach? Or are they asking to use approach?
To use the approach, just to use
Whose
it.
approach is it?
I don't think there is an approach there. It just
It's
goes
just-
into the bin yard.
Well, I guess that's the approach, because this is a 10-meter wide access area to premises, so it's, I guess it's your approach, but it's onto private land that they're accessing through, right? So they'll have to work on an easement on the landowner's side, but I guess they were looking for approval to use the municipal approach to get onto the property then?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't have anything specific to the approaches, usually I only deal with it once they're on the property.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's any, I guess I don't know that you'd have to establish the condition of the approach and if it's suitable for whatever equipment is gonna be crossed there for it, but.
If they'll make the cell service better, we'll pave you.
Careful how you say that. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so I don't know, I don't have anything to add about the approach, so, but.
Well, it wouldn't be a problem there to build one anyway for them, because there's lots of material and
Yeah.
there's no culvert required or anything there.
Yeah. I'm assuming that their major access is gonna be for the assembly of it. It's probably pretty low maintenance and small equipment and just to maintain it and review it, but.
Yeah.
And I'm still in the mindset that these massive companies with these crazy revenues should be paying for their infrastructure access costs. Because the cost of one approach can come out of the RM, or it can be not even a rounding error on their project, and they pay our costs. But that's, I don't want to deny you better cell phone service.
Yeah.
But it's a pretty small hurdle to approach the, that, but
Exactly.
Yeah.
who pays it?
What kind of revenue comes from a communication tower, do you know, in the municipality?
That would be, you could probably reach out to assessment and find out, because like I say, we do a development permit for it.
Yeah.
And the development permit goes to assessment, so they're gonna know that there's this tower on there, and I'm guessing, just based off of other things, that they probably would assess it to somewhat different, at least for some degree of area for it, right? So,
Right.
That would be an assessment question. Well, but yeah, I would say that's why, like I say, we do the development permit to log it, to make sure that they followed the proper process to have it there. And it goes through that process, and then, but I mean, everyone like that, we send to assessment regardless, just so assessment knows what's on the land, so. Yeah, but there will be more discussion, because obviously this package for the tower will come
Will
to
come,
council
yeah.
for review
Yeah.
further. I'm just kind of giving a heads up on it, because if it goes to the property owners first and they come asking, at least then you're aware
Yeah,
of it.
aware of this coming.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
That's all I have, unless there's any questions.
That's a next year project, or is that a fuzzy timeline project?
When they start, I won't know. Usually, from past ones, I mean, they don't usually go too fast through this approval process. It seems to take several months to get actually to the point where they're approved to build.
Okay.
But usually at this stage, it's usually 2 or 3 months before they actually look for a letter of concurrence. Basically, that's from my office saying that that's the development permit, the development has been approved. There's been no concerns, or the concerns have been met by council, and they have submitted all their documents, then we sign off for them, and then when they build after that, I usually don't know. Yeah.
Okay, anything else? I have one question.
Sure.
Our last meeting there, because we have to go through who sits on boards.
Okay,
We wanted to get
an alternate.
alternate, right?
Yeah, an alternate, just in the event that somebody's not able to make it, then if there's one appointed by council, then that person could attend our meetings, yeah. I think we were actually, so whether you want to do that now, I say our office was gonna send something out once.
Oh, were you?
Yeah,
Okay, well then we can leave it alone for now.
yeah,
I just thought I'd bring, while you were here, I couldn't remember what we.
No, it would be an alternate, and I guess you can do one whenever, but just to, we were planning on sending one out to all municipalities that were reviewing that policy, and that we were requesting one, if the one hasn't been, we were gonna request one be appointed
Right.
from each municipality on the planning district board. so.
Yeah, well, it's just, I thought it came to my attention because we have to go through this.
Oh, yeah, so I mean, it can happen now, and then when you get the letter, you're done. Like,
Yeah, I guess so.
It's no problem to me.
Yeah, okay.
We'll be sending something further out
Okay.
as well, so.
So in addition to the 2 council assigned, an alternate is also?
Correct, yeah.
Thank you.
All right, anything else? Okay, we're done with you. Thanks, Joe.
Very good, thank you.
I know, I got lost.
Just as committee reports.
All right.
Okay.
Does anybody have any questions about the Eco Area Planning District meetings? No, the minutes?
Oh, sorry.
Okay. I guess it's up to you guys. Do you want to go into camera to talk about the water treatment plant? Or do you want to leave that till afterwards?
Have we got anything to discuss besides that, in camera?
Yeah, what about the David thing, the assessment? That should be in camera too, correct? We can do it at the same time.
Yeah, and when's the tax sale start?
1:30, after lunch.
We're just ready to go for lunch now.
We could probably get it done in 25 minutes.
The tax sale?
No,
Lunch?
the ink.
Oh,
We can't get lunch done.
Yeah, we can do that if we got time to vote, don't have to rush
Those
it.
two issues should be done in 25 minutes.
Okay.
In camera and done.
Okay, let's do that. I didn't know what it was.
Just looking at this property. Alright, Jim. Yeah, crazy. 330, a kilometer.
In accordance with the section 152, bracket 3 of the Municipal Act, Council of the Rural Municipality of Rosedale now move in camera to discuss legal and personal matters at this time beginning 11:35 a.m. And further to be resolved that in accordance with the section 83 bracket 1 bracket D of the Municipal Act, any issues that are discussed are to be kept confidential until discussed at a regular meeting of council. Do I have a mover? Jeff Henderson. Seconder? All in favor?
RCP, this is information.
RCMP report, yeah, did everybody go through that? I went through it. It's just information.
I think town of Neepawa.
Nipple area health.
Okay. Auxiliary health, we did that.
What about curving club?
Oh,
The town of Neepawa water increase.
Oh, yes.
we made a resolution for auxiliary health, right?
Yep,
Yeah. Okay, town of Newport notice.
so they just provided notice that in October 1st, 2023, 24, 25, the water prices are gonna go up for us.
For us.
Eden, for the Eden supply, yeah.
In which that gets passed on to the ratepayer, right?
Yeah, we'll have to adjust the bylaw, I believe.
Right?
I think we have to change the bylaw.
To reflect the new price.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
So just to let you guys know, that's probably gonna be coming up.
Coming up.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Newport Curling Club.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever donate to that before?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Big time, a couple times.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know.
Big time.
Yeah. Yeah, one time was a big compressor. You're talking about at the curling club.
Yeah, they've got a thing here that they're looking for some financial, or some,
It's for
whatever
the
you can
compressor.
give.
What do we
Yeah.
got for a project? We're not listing a project?
Yeah, compressor.
It's the one we put in 10
Yeah.
years ago.
Was it?
I bet you it was, maybe not.
That's what we did though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To replace valves, head, crank, necessary parts, they figure around 35,000.
Oh.
I know last year they had trouble. Curling didn't start. They couldn't get the ice in because of issues with the ice plant. And then it appears like they're having issues again this year.
That's what we supported before, I'm sure, wasn't it?
Definitely.
Yeah, and this is rebuilt.
I can't remember how much we did, but it was a lot.
So is that the life expectancy one of them
Yeah.
things? 10 years? If that's, I'm guessing on the numbers, that using your memories that it's history, it seemingly short period of time to me.
But if you have any ELT money, what do you guys think? And how much?
Where do we stand on DLT money?
I would have to look that.
Because we've been spending a fair bit.
Yeah. How much?
Because I don't, the last time I paid attention anyway was, there was about $3,500 left in Ward 3. But I'm not sure if that's accurate or not, because that was just pencil bills.
You're probably pretty accurate at that, I think. 'Cause we had spent lots, but they were small denominations, is what it was there. Did lots of it, but just small.
I can look it up for you for next meeting.
So we'll table this till we find out what's left in the BLT, or do you want to make?
I think they should likely send somebody to our meeting if they've got a
Yeah, that's
request
true.
for that amount of money.
Yeah,
I think at
I
the
agree with you.
time
Yeah.
that we put a fair chunk of money in, we had quite a few people curl here.
Yeah.
And I think you find like there's more people curling Arden now from Rosedale
Oh, there.
than Deepwater.
Then need one, okay.
I think they're just asking for any donation, they're not asking for the 30.
No, yeah.
Any help out, any jump, says there's something, give them 2 or 3 or.
Yeah, it says here,
Yeah,
Rosedale.
but it's,
The RM of Rosedale has been kind in the past and supportive of assistance to Curling Club. In this project, we would just greatly appreciate the value of such or your donation, so.
it's up to you, I just,
Up to you guys.
it's a lot of money.
Let's just see where our DOTs are sitting.
You want to table it?
We'll table it.
Yeah.
No, please. Hopefully we won't have snow on the ground yet for a while.
Easy. Easy. They'll start to curl any day now.
And they were one.
End of the month, we're supposed to start up.
Yeah.
Do we have time to do CS's Farms
Oh, yeah, I think so. The subdivision?
subdivision?
Yeah, so the subdivision is they're just separating the homestead to a 10 acre.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I went through it last night.
Yeah, I went through most of it, not all of it.
There didn't seem to be any issues. The only one was that Transport Canada about the approach, but
And then a variance order there to obtain as well to decrease from 125 feet to 65 feet.
yeah. By the looks of it, they're also changing their sewage pump out.
Mm-hmm.
So, but other than that, I don't see.
Also, the ejectors need decommissioned at the time of subdivision. What's the reason to have such a large setback in the first place, 125 feet?
I would think so, it's up to the road expansion back in the day, if you were gonna twin a highway or put a PR road there or something, you'd have to be back, I guess, that's my guess, that's a guess totally.
Probably good.
Yeah.
Probably when they rebuilt that road, they were already back so far, but now when they rebuilt it, it came that much wider.
No, it's closer.
And it's 60 to the proposed 65 feet, is that really a concern, or is it just kind of?
As long as,
Doesn't really matter.
I don't think so, as long as they both agree to it, there's like the owner and the guy that's going to take over the parcel, like the artist. So if there's nothing else, I guess we can read this. Does this have to be read 3 times too, or not, just once? For the subdivision, just once?
You can read 3 times if you want.
No, I don't. Okay, whereas the proposal subdivision request of CS Farms Limited on Southeast 291616 West was presented to council on Friday, October 13, 2023. Now there be it resolved that the council of the RM of Rosedale has reviewed and approves the subdivision proposed by CS Farms Limited on Southeast 291616 West, providing that the conditional use order be obtained for a non-farm single-family dwelling in a ag zone. The owner applicant entered in a development agreement with the RM of Rosedale and registered on title. That the variance order be obtained for the dwelling to decrease the required front yard setback from 125 feet to approximately 65 feet. Do I have a mover? Scott, Carson, Chuck seconder. All in favor? Carried.
One more,
Sure.
the Christmas gifts.
Oh,
I'm not sure what you guys did in the past, but Colleen was saying that everybody got a gift card. I don't know if you do a meal or whatever afterwards. So I just copied what was previously allocated. So full-time employees were getting $100 for Christmas gift, and then casual fire chief and then fire volunteers. So the total of gift cards would be $2,100.
and then last year we took to Chicken Carl,
You should have known that.
or Chicken Shop, sorry.
I think that's a good idea. I think we should do the same thing again. Come in middle of December, we're gonna have our December meeting.
Yeah.
Meet at the lunch break for the operators and
Yeah.
staff here at administration.
If that's all right with you guys, I think we did pretty good last year with that. I'm not sure. Okay, anything else? Me and council agreed to give the following holiday gift cards from Co-op for 2023 employees, $100. Employees casual, 50. Fire chiefs, 100. Volunteer fires, 25. Total 21. $2,100. Do I have a mover?
I'll move it.
Second. Sure. Nah, we don't know who you are.
Most people don't.
All in favor? Carried.
He said he was gonna buy the meal though in December the way, so we'll let it away.
Crackers for you all.
$100
$100 per day.
Can you make them the animal ones? So my grandkids like
Goldfish.
Jeez. All over the house after they're done with it. Okay, I got 5 minutes.
Computer backups?
Yeah, that should be simple.
Which one?
Computer backup.
V4.
Oh, okay.
So currently we don't have any backup system for our files. We do for Minisoft, which is our electronic platform for financials. But any of the file system, if we get a virus or a cyber attack, will likely be gone. Nothing is backed up, it's just sitting on the server. So we had reached out to Alltech, which is our provider, and they were saying that we could do backups on a daily basis and then have backups also on a monthly. So the issue with a cyber attack is sometimes it goes unnoticed, so you're contaminating your backups when you're doing it daily. So the suggestion is to keep one off-site so that we have something to go back to that's maybe just a month back, rather than losing everything because our backups are corrupt. So the thought is that we would back up on a daily basis, and then we would back up on a monthly, and then store one of those off-site so that we would overload it each time. And then the software would be $150 per computer. The external drives are about 110 a piece, so we'd need 7 of them. And then labor is about $100 per hour. So he's estimating about an hour and a half to set up these for our computers. So there's only 3 of us, 3 computers, so the total would be $1886.
gotta be, yeah, it's pretty necessary, I think.
I'm surprised we've got away with this.
And not have.
Look at all the money we've saved so far.
Yeah.
I just assumed it was already back.
They do actually, yeah.
It didn't occur to me to work that.
Just the financials, so the tax system, receivables, payables, utilities, all of that's backed up on a weekly, but our file systems are not.
And is that like an off-site, like those, the 5 hard drives, that's like somebody takes one home with them? I get more as
Or else
kept
we'll put them in
off-site.
a safety deposit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, good day, folks.
Okay, we the council authorized purchase from All Tech of hardware and software and labor to install a file backup system for an approximate cost of $1,887. Do I have a mover? Earl Burton. Seconder? Robert Scott. All in favor? Carried. All right. That we adjourn the regular meeting of council at 1:30 p.m. to hold our 2023 tax sale. Do I have a mover? Sure. Seconder? All in favor? Carried.
Are you our auctioneer?
Yeah.
You are? Okay.
Yeah.
Mr.
So,
Myers.
I think you're
Hey,
probably.
how's everybody?
35, just to make sure.
Oh, wait till 1:35.
Maybe.
Okay.
So we'll just give people 5 minutes.
Yeah, yeah, they don't show up, I'm not reading the thing, and you guys are declaring it back to the RM, and we just go. That's all we do, go through the motions and,
And that's it.
yeah, then you can put it back in your books and do with it whatever you like.
All right, no problem, good, eh?
Yeah, I think so, we may as well declare no sale and let Roxy know and.
How much you want to buy a property?
Yeah.
Sorry. Are you interested in bidding on the properties?
He's counted as an attendee.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, everybody, have a good one.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Take care, man. Good to see you.
I just want to get them call Roxy.
Stress free.
Okay. Whereas tax sale was held on Friday, October 13, 2023, with Brad Mayers as the auctioneer, therefore be it resolved that the roll number 3960 at Calwood and being lot 1 and 2, block 4, plan 428, NL to subject to special reservation as to mines, minerals, and other matters as particularly depended in the original grant from the Crown in Northwest Quarter 11-19-15 WPM -1/2 4428 was sold for $3,524.33 to the RM of Rosedale, Box 100, Neatwalk, Manitoba, ROJ 1HO. There was 0 bids for the property. Do I have a mover on this one? Earl Burton. Seconder.
Second.
Dave Tuderick. All in favor? Carried. Whereas the tax sale has been held on Friday, October 13, 2023, with the Brad Mayer as auctioneer, therefore be it resolved that roll number 44500, lot 6/7, according to a plan special survey of part of the town site of Kelwood in Manitoba, registered in the Neatwall Land Titles Office as number .544, accepting out of said lot 7, all that portion, therefore taken for the lane as shown on the plan of the side lane attached to the old system, instrument number .60083 of the Neatwall Land Titles Office, DESC 6/7, 5.544 was sold for $3,770.60 to the RM of Rosedale, Box 100 of Neatwall, Manitoba, ROJ 1HO. There was 0 bids for the property. Do I have a mover? Sure. Seconder? Sure. Klaus. All in favor? Carried. That the 2023 tax sale now be closed at
1:38.
38 p.m. Resume over to regular meeting of council. Then a second, or motion, mover, Robert Scott. Second. All in favor? Carried. Which one's on here? Oh, okay. Committee appointment, oh, yeah. Okay. White Mud Watershed Board number 39 vacant.
I think Jeff is in that one.
We just didn't put his name in, right?
Yeah, because I think he was appointed after, or in the by-election, so that would be Jeff currently.
So I guess, does anybody want changes done in here? Or?
I had a request from Trans-Canada Trail, Rossburn Subdivision, asking if we could add one more person.
Okay.
If we don't mind, then somebody else can do it with me. It is, just so they always have someone there, so if I can't make it, somebody else can or whatever. Carpool or whatever. Most of the meetings are Sandy Lakes.
Rossburn Subdivision Trail Association, is that it?
Yeah. They were asking if we could put a second.
We get 2 meetings a year.
No,
Once a month almost, eh?
yeah, well, in the winter time, there's a little more than the summer, because the summer months, they kind of take off, and it's busy doing lots of stuff there.
Right.
But winter months, they plan everything, so it's nice to have everybody planning. I know all the other ones, they all got 2 now, so.
Yeah, it's on a monthly basis, huh?
Yeah,
Okay.
monthly or
Every 2 months.
every 2 months, something like that. And I brought Jeff with me to the AGM, because they said you can bring someone, so I did ask him if he wanted to come check it out. And he does the walking stuff, so.
What?
He walks enough for both of us.
I've actually walked the Trans-Canada Trail.
Yeah. I don't know, like, if we wanted to add one more person.
Mm-hmm. Depends on you guys who wants to join.
I would like to be on it, unless somebody else really wants to be on it.
I know my winter side of it, the summer side, somebody else, because I deal with the snowmobile club and that stuff, so.
Yeah. Okay. Jeff, do you want the job?
Wouldn't mind.
Okay. If nobody else disagrees, we'll give her the job.
And then if anybody, like, because I wasn't here the last time, so if anybody wants to lessen their load, I'm quite okay with not going to meetings, so. But if you want to get rid of one, I'm willing to take one.
Who wants to be the alternate for new fire?
That's what I was just gonna ask.
Yeah.
For the district planning board.
There you go,
I
Jeff.
can do the alternate.
Okay. Jeff Henderson, you can be the alternate for the district planning board then. And that's everywhere here.
There's a couple extra committee things that come to my email. So BP Community Foundation, not sure, must be Beautiful Plains Community, Bernie Community Club, Neequa Area Mutual Aid, and Regional Recreation Steering Committee. So I don't think they're currently on here unless they're called something different.
I thought I was on that recreational one, but I don't remember.
Maybe is that Regional Strategic Plan?
Recreation community, it's on there.
Oh, it's just called something different.
And the Bernie one, I can just take that one and be in part of the AGM.
Okay.
I will reach out to Norm on that.
The recreation one's maybe once a year, that's all I've ever done. And I never really get anything from the, what was the other one I'm on here? Well, the Chamber of Commerce. I don't seem to get, like I get an email on that, but that's about it. So I don't know if they don't have meetings or what, the Neequa District Chamber of Commerce. I'm on that one, but I don't know, maybe they just don't have meetings at all. I think you get the email and then you transfer it over to me, don't you?
I haven't gotten anything
No,
from Chamber,
okay.
no, but I can take a look through, maybe the admin email has some stuff.
I do get emails from them, but I just, maybe they were sending it to you too.
And then Valley View Seniors Housing, that's the Valley Life,
Valley, yeah.
I'll change the names. And then there was also the Yellowhead Rec Committee. So I don't know if that is on here.
Would you say Yellowhead Rec Committee?
Mm-hmm.
Have you got any emails on that, or?
I must have gotten emails, that's why I wrote it down on here to see if we don't have any representation on it currently.
Well, I would take that on, I guess.
Don't think we ever did.
Well, if they ever come up with something, then I'll volunteer.
Okay, I'll look it up. So maybe if you guys give me till next meeting to get this all organized for you, and then I can resend it out, and then we can pass it.
Okay.
That works?
Okay.
Because it's kind of a big resolution. Yeah, so we can do, so my apologies on the leisure lottery. The last resolution was for 2023 and it should have been for 2024, so we're just going through the motions to get the proper date on there. And I think it will run in the spring. They're talking in the spring.
that we, the council, agree to approve the up to 30,000 backing to the community clinic committee to hold the farm and leisure lotto event in 2024. Do I have a mover?
And it'll be in the spring.
Yeah.
Robert Scott, second it. All in favor? Carried. All right.
And then I guess on committees, if you guys want, you just want to continue with Valley Life?
All right.
Do we want to continue?
That's the question.
That's the $1 million question.
Because at lunchtime, I can basically change my mind at lunchtime. Because I just don't know whether there's value there.
Well, there is, I'm just not sure if it's here, it's not now, that's the,
Yeah.
I mean, what they're doing there is a great idea, honestly, and they got the area for it, and the backup for it.
And they have some great people on their committee and they're out of it. It's just, doesn't fit right for the Arm and Rosedale situation, I guess. Yeah.
Because it just seems like Neepawa is doing so much on their own without anything. It's just like, we just gotta look at them.
And that's, yeah, truthfully enough, I mean, a lot of people just come to Neepawa and go to Kingsland Court or wherever. Or Elks or.
We're a long ways away from having something within the area. And I'm looking at the infrastructure. I'm not saying it won't get there someday.
Someday, but not.
In the next 10 years, I don't see it, to be honest. I'm not trying to be negative.
No, but we'd like to better put a little money into something that Neepawa was gonna do,
Yeah.
because a big percentage of Rosedale ratepayers will come this way.
That's
Safe to
what
sooner,
I'm
you know,
trying to get
yeah,
at.
safe to sooner.
Exactly.
There's no.
I think we walk out of it, that's my decision anyways. I don't know, up to you guys.
I would say the same.
We'd have to do the same thing that when other RMs wanted to come on to the Valley Life, we'd have to write a letter to the board requesting to be opted out.
So that's the first step.
The first step, yeah.
Okay, so maybe next meeting we'll just make a resolution with the council committee assignments to remove.
Okay. I think you have, the gentleman's name, or do you have to send that into the head of the committee?
Grant.
Yeah.
And then the resolution will stand, I'm assuming we're still gonna support with the $2,500 as per the April resolution.
Or not.
We discussed that somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the main question now.
Yeah, because I've talked myself around to like wanting to rescind that and keeping the money local and doing something local.
So I'm not 100% in the process of rescinding. I think it needs to go through 2 council meetings to pull the resolution back, but I have to look it up. It's easy to rescind during the original meeting, not as easy when it's months.
Because I'm not, like, that invoice that we're looking at today is for the motion we did previously, right?
Yes.
It's just the paperwork is, it's not a second one.
Right.
Yeah. So I can look into the details surrounding that.
The original two mover and seconder has to rescind the motion. I think.
I'll have to look it up.
Is that what it is? I think so.
Okay.
Write
We
that down,
table this to-
write that down in case I'm right.
I'll bring the information and advise
Yeah.
in November.
Let's do that.
Greater purchase.
Do you want to do gravel price first?
Sure.
Or greater purchase down, because I think we have to go into camera.
Right.
And then we can do the fall convention as well, or conference. So we're just deciding, of course, we have the joint project for 84 North with Langford. So we just need to determine the price of the gravel that we're going to sell to them. So I'm not sure if we also need to go into camera for that as well.
I don't think so.
Because we did give like the ballpark figure of what we were gonna charge them, and it was all open, so.
We got the magic number yet?
839.
Yeah.
Make it at 50 at least, not at
59, 859?
Well, we were kicking around, what, 50 mark, wasn't it?
Plus the tax.
Plus the tax.
Because that makes us whole, right? Like if we had to buy, not road base or road gravel, but just pit run, what would it cost us to buy it? If we didn't have our own pits?
Or two-ish. Yeah, two-ish, yeah.
And if we had to buy, road gravel, it would be in the 10 to
12-ish,
range.
12-ish maybe.
Because that Brandon quote was how much?
Well, that was, yeah, special rock, but it was.
Oh, that was special rock.
Through the roof, but yeah. it was
We're paying
that was 20 something, right?
20 something.
So that was delivered to the way.
Oh, that was in the quote price.
Oh, that was in the price delivered.
Yeah,
Okay.
so they give us a price for
We
it.
end up paying more, a little extra than they are anyway, because that road 90 and 471 are gonna have to rebid. So that's coming at our cost, like, to have to fix that road.
Right.
You know, so we gotta have a little extra there because our road's taking the beating.
To get
Because
there.
their road taking the beating, well, we'd be,
Oh, to get to the site.
To the site, right.
12 miles of road.
well, how do you think about it, because already where there was a little bit of black dirt, that stuff's already broken into chunks like this, it's just chunking out. And that's only one day long.
So we are looking at least 850?
I would say 850, 875 to cover that cost on that road to help us out. Because our graders are gonna do a lot of work on that road after.
There's maybe some gravel there.
Yeah, probably gonna spread a little gravel in a few places where it's
Won't that
dirt.
be in the road hole agreement?
It's not enough. That road haul agreement, like if you do the math on it, like I can't remember the numbers, I did it once before, about 3 months ago or something. But what we charge isn't enough to maintain.
No, but isn't the road hall agreement state that you put it back in the shape it was when you started?
Oh, sorry, I think you're talking about just the tonnage rates.
No, I.
Yeah, but that doesn't,
Our own road.
that doesn't
Oh,
apply to this.
yeah. Oh, it's that,
If
no,
they're
it's
hauling,
that.
if they're hauling out of our,
Yeah.
out of our RM, yeah, then they gotta put it back there, but they're hauling to our road.
Because you have to put 1,500 yards of gravel on.
And it's gonna cost us $2,000 to fix it, so spend $1,000 of it, you know, at least
Yeah.
cut the cost of this, you wanna help fix the road.
Yeah, 12 miles, yeah, that's 100, yeah.
You know, 471 and 90, you're gonna take a heck of a beating.
Because it would pay us to put some gravel on that.
There's no other way to get there.
Oh, I know that.
You could do little dips and doos, but
Well, we said we were between that 7 and 8, so we're at 850, there shouldn't be any qualms that way. If we start going too much, we might get, maybe there's other issues.
Pushback.
Yeah, so I was stay at 850. I don't know.
I like it.
You like it?
I like it.
I think, Robert, 850 sound reasonable?
Yeah, I wasn't here on the first
Oh, right,
discussion or
yeah.
anything about that road, so.
well, we definitely wouldn't go any lower than that. Not for any spend the extra costs on it, because if their road was getting beat, they would want the extra costs on it, so.
Yeah, I think so. So we make it 850?
Because then next year's gonna be 650 to crush gravel.
We, the council of the RM of Rosedale, have provided traffic gravel for the Boundary Road 84 North project. Therefore, be it resolved that the price which will be shared with the RM of North Cypress Langford will be at $8.50 a yard. Do I have a mover?
Plus the taxes.
Oh,
Plus
taxes.
Any question on it? Carl's question, on 550 a yard, I said that's cheap for gravel.
Yeah. Do I have a mover?
There's guys that are paying 15, 18 bucks a yard for crushing.
Don Kostrick, second.
Traffic gravel too, nothing special.
Everybody in favor? Carried.
I'm good.
So we're lucky so far.
That's gonna run out shortly.
It's incredible.
We should maybe call the Daryl and book him for
the spring.
now.
Tomorrow.
We can come
Get that price tied in.
And then conference.
Because he'll tie it up.
There should be a spreadsheet. I just want everybody to review it to make sure it's correct.
You better, Robert, you better look at this piece of paper.
Yeah.
Because you were just You weren't here that week, so this is what we got now.
Oh, the
This is what the name
conference.
Your name is right there.
Whether you're
We never answered any of the questions.
in or out for the gala registration.
Yeah. We assume you're going, wanting to go?
I would like to go if everything's good with my wife.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
28th, 28th, 29th, and 30th is the AMM convention.
And one thing,
Nick, Brandon.
Brandon.
don't forget,
Still looks at me.
So then the question, if you would like to come, I can register you, and then, do you want to go to the icebreaker event as well? Or
oh,
just the
one good thing,
convention,
yeah, I would go to that,
and then a
but I
hotel?
can't promise anything right now.
Yeah.
I'll do the hotel thing most.
You'll do hotel as well?
I just don't want to do that, y'all.
Okay, so we're new.
I'll skip the gala, I'll go to the next
Stop
one.
worrying.
Yeah, the gala, don't read.
So of course, hotel rooms are all booked, and we had no way of booking, so we had no credit card for
It
quite
is a
some
lot of
time.
money, yeah.
Don't you think?
So we're gonna be staying at the
You
40.
do your own pocket for what you get.
Exactly.
Oh, we're doing what we're doing on gala night.
But we will, I don't know what the hotel is called, we stay there all the time because the rooms are only $85.
It's pretty good
So
there.
instead of $200 for a room, we'll save on that at least, but we'll have to take caps bracket for it.
We did it up at the highway anyways, we stayed that one year right up on number one. So
Okay. So
there was
we'll-
band coming,
we stay there all the time.
scooped us up and away we went.
Yeah, they renovated it, so it's there. So Ernie wants a hotel, does anybody else want a hotel or icebreaker tickets?
But Art knows.
You got me in here for a hotel, yeah.
Yeah,
Me too, I hope.
Icebreaker.
Carl,
You going, yeah?
myself, and Earl are in for a hotel,
Yeah, hotel, no.
and then Ernie now.
You must have looked at it.
Okay.
Well,
Jump to the best.
And then I just don't know
can't go, but
What's the,
if Ernie's bringing, are you bringing a guest or
You're
anything to the
working, no.
icebreaker? No? Okay. And then I will.
which you might as well. Everything's not going the way it's supposed to go.
You don't want a guest? No.
That's what you have to think. Yeah, no, 100%.
No.
Put rubber down.
Okay. So I can cancel hotel room, do you want a hotel room as well?
pardon?
A hotel as well?
Please.
Yeah, if I go to bed, like, I'm not gonna
Okay.
drive back.
Yeah.
He's not sleeping on me.
I can cancel hotels, I just can't cancel registration.
No, that's, we'll just take it.
If you can cancel a hotel, then it'll be down as well,
Okay.
just in case.
You need to, then, please.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I just need
So
to-
nobody's going to the gala then, that's safe?
I need to have
Just do the rest. Do the gala.
Well, that's
Yeah,
the
no,
one,
it's
what
the
you
gala
said,
recorded.
so it's recorded then. But I know I'm registered, just that I didn't do the icebreaker. I guess I should.
I think I should.
Okay. Council authorized MCOM to register the following councilors: Robert Scott, Jeff Henderson, Carl Spencer, Earl Burton, Ron Kostrick, and Ernie Shirt for the fall 2023 AMM Fall Convention in Brandon, November 28th to the 30th, and that all allow able expenses to be paid. Do I have a mover?
There's another resolution.
Did you read?
Seconder.
I have to get approval just to go, never mind.
All in favor?
You should.
Loud card.
Queen Hearts or Queen of Diamonds, I'm not sure. So everybody's doing the icebreaker, just not, nobody's doing.
Nobody's doing the gala. The council authorizes McDonald to attend 2023 AMM conference in Brandon, November 28th to 30th, and allowable expenses be paid. Do I have a mover? Robert Scott, seconder. Earl Burton. All in favor? Carried.
Sorry, I'm just updating my shenanigans.
Just in case.
Right?
Yeah.
Ernie's got no guest. Ronnie, are you bringing a guest to icebreaker, or do you want to go to the icebreaker?
I'm with icebreaker, but I'm not sure about guests.
I don't know if I can buy them afterwards or not.
Yeah.
Girls bringing a guest, girls bringing no guest. Okay.
I don't think so.
So there's still questions.
Dates, you gotta figure out the dates. Is it October or November?
November.
November, 28, 29, 30. So we'll stay over 28, 29.
Okay, 29th and 30th, we're on our way home.
So I think we've got everything.
I'm running out of summer.
Oh, you think so? So
You
we'll
run
camera and talk about
past
this.
there.
What's that grading request?
So when we were doing our training, we found out that we can schedule annual things or weekly things or whatever in the system. So we could schedule grading if somebody wants their lane done on an annual basis. We could attach it to the customer card and then call them, hey, do you want your laneway graded? We could do that for mowing as well. Because I know sometimes people just call to the office, but then if we knew who was gonna need mowing, then we could schedule when the mower's there, then he can just do the laneways.
I think it's good.
So just wanted
Yeah.
to bring forward to you guys that that's something.
That's a good idea, because there's no sense, if they wanna change it, you'll be making contact anyway, so.
Yeah, so then if we put them in the system, then we can pull a report and then we can call them and ask them, hey, do you still want this service? Then if they do it, then at least we have a chargeable service that we can pay some money on annually.
Okay. Perfect.
And we already have, we have a list of people, or, and even for calcium. We can do that as well for calcium. We can put the service into the system and then.
Because I know there's some people, like my neighbor there, didn't get the memo, I guess, for the calcium thing twice in a row. And they missed calcium twice, so
Okay.
this way, if it's
So
like
that would be
that, you're talking to them, they go, yep, this is the doctor next door to me, she wanted it, but turned
And
out. they
I
missed
don't
it.
know how calcium works. Do we do it, or do we hire somebody to do it?
We hire somebody to do
Yeah.
it, we just have the money basically.
Yeah, they just
pay us
pay.
and we pay them, but it just gives us, the one day is set to do rules of calcium, basically, that's,
And it's based on foot.
yeah,
Yeah, 300 foot or 500 foot sections,
Okay.
yeah.
that's all they have, is 200. The colony usually gets their own, because they just get the truck come in and do the whole yard.
So we should likely review the rates, like get a quote from the service provider and then review what rates we're planning on charging.
Great.
Does anyone know the name of the service provider?
Calcium dude.
What the heck was it?
I don't think I know.
Man, I can't remember it now. You can see the truck.
Prairie.
Prairie. Is it Prairie?
Prairie.
They're on the,
Very liquid feed.
is that Prairie Liquid?
Is it very liquid?
I think so.
Okay, so, it should be in Winnipeg. Yeah.
We'll take I can get a quote from them to see what they would. Is there anybody else that does that service around that we know?
There's
of?
enough fit out of Brandon, but
Yeah, we had,
we stopped using them because of too many troubles we were having, I guess.
Okay.
But you can call
That was
it.
Fort Gary? Or who?
I think it was Fort Gary.
Fort Gary.
Fort Gary.
Yeah.
Liquid or something like that.
We switched to new guys.
So these new guys.
It's
They use
potassium
magnesium.
chloride, isn't it?
Potassium or magnesium?
Magnesium.
Magnesium.
Yeah, used to be calcium chloride.
Yeah.
Magnesium, right.
I can reach out to my
And
contact.
it just lasts a little longer than the calcium.
Oh, it's a way better product, more money, but it's a way better product.
Okay.
And they've actually are really good because the price didn't change much from the other one, and they give us a better product, so.
And then I also received a call from Scott Vernon. So he's one of the contractors that is, they're building the hospital. So they're looking for property to put a camp, a temporary camp for 60 to 100 guys. And they were wondering if the Army Rosedale could help. So I reached out to planning and development to see what we would need to do. So they would draw something up for us, but I don't know if we have actually a personal plan that we could put them on. And then we need to consider how much we were gonna charge them.
We got 2 in Kelwood.
Using, yeah. I think Kelwood's too far away. They're wanting something
Well,
more
Franklin.
local.
The thing said close the depot, I could have to read those.
Maybe something in
Franklin.
Franklin.
I mean, have we got any land in Franklin?
Well, there must be something, there's still 4 lots in Franklin, but
Really?
I would imagine it not being a service though, because I would imagine that'd be like an ATCO camp with.
Yeah, they want temporary water. They want
Yeah.
temporary water.
and sewer.
yeah.
We got water there.
How many people are they looking for a site for?
60 to 100.
60 to 100.
60, oh, that's a big site.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a big camp.
I think water for sure they would need, but I don't know.
Cause you
sewer,
gotta
if they
temporary
bring-
sewer
Yeah.
tanks. and
We had a
for
site
sure
where
they
we
can do
need
that easy enough.
for about maybe 6 or 8 trailers.
In Eden?
Yeah, it got used up
Oh.
just this last 6 months. They had a site when they plowed, remember when the guys plowed the water lines in?
Right.
They moved up into that Jackson yard and they laid out the sewer system and the water
really?
system. That was still in the ground, the tank
Yeah.
was still there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it got sold. And the guy put a trailer in there and,
Oh, yeah,
down here.
Yeah, that was on there.
Yeah, you just get in and it's,
Cause you need 80 acres, or 50 acres for that kind of.
well, you need a fair size, piece of ground.
For 80 to 100,
Yeah.
wouldn't be that big of a
10 trailers. Well, that one in Snowdale, how many guys?
West side.
Right, just that, I guess I'm worried about space.
Put them on top of the
Yeah.
Oh, my, something like, tons of guys, but they hotbed it, right, so they don't get in the side of the room.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying that that camp's not bad.
And they want to set
Size
the
wise.
camp up by a certain date. Yeah.
They didn't say, I think they were just looking, and I think they're calling everybody. So they had mentioned something, actually, I think it's not in our RM. I think there was property here, just outside of our RM, so I told them to call Glenella, but I didn't know if we had anything close-ish, drivable to the site.
I know. These people around here can sure benefit from that.
2 or 3 miles away from the site. They're not gonna want to travel a bunch.
Not too far, no.
Eden's probably the farthest, Eden or Franklin,
Yeah.
probably that would
10
be
miles
the.
from here.
That'd be the most.
And that would be annoying for the guys.
Yes.
Like, oh,
The travel time and stuff.
yeah, especially in the winter and whatnot, like,
Yeah.
it would just be,
So I guess if you guys think of anywhere, or, I don't know if we should solicit out to area folks or farmers if they,
see, and I think we should, it's like,
Just post
we shouldn't
it.
be making decisions for the local landowners, like, but they don't know about the opportunity.
Yeah,
So
put on
it's
our
just,
website, nothing.
just straightforward communication.
The only place I could think of might have, I don't know what Kevin Cathcart did with the seedlot area. That's
Where's that?
just out here.
Where,
Kevin Cathcart.
Well, what's my call, Jim? Now,
he's
Yeah, from the
What do you do with feedlot area? That'd be a good spot for a campground.
So,
It's sold,
Okay.
Very cool.
Have we got some,
correct,
recycling guy,
yeah,
he got it.
what's his name?
I got his
Different
name.
name,
I know his face.
yeah.
Remember his name.
Who owns the land west of, where it used to be Agri Center there, just, east of the new home hardware? Who owns that, with Sammy's parking there sometimes?
Yeah.
what about the home hardware? They empty?
Right here?
You mean
Yeah,
the
maybe
actual?
they could just start the home hardware,
Building.
okay.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's a very vacant, big building. But that lot has been empty for a long time up on the highway, that's what, I just popped in my head, it just, there's water there, there's gotta be a sewer line that close,
Well, even where the chicken barns were.
or the chicken barns.
It's Braves.
That's all we want up now.
It's Braves, yeah.
It's Bray Farms.
So I can call him back and ask him, do you want us to post it to see if
Yeah.
anybody?
Yeah.
Get some more interest in it,
Yeah.
yeah, eyes on the game.
And then if somebody has on the.
Legal breeder.
One of the
Yeah.
because it only there temporarily.
Mhm.
That was explored.
Year, probably a year built hospital. We never built a hospital.
And then they're gonna develop the school, so.
But, yeah.
Maybe there's a chance
Who knows?
For maybe about a couple of years.
Well,
Or is that?
it depends on the new government coming
Oh,
in.
no,
This guy named.
That could be put on the other
That
limb.
ramp out of there after they're done. They gotta build their-
Not sure, what is that?
Did
The
that
new
guy buy-
vocational school.
did that guy buy
The plannings are
Jack
there and everything's there,
Did
but
that guy buy
I heard
Jack
you got
Ventures
they found the land.
in the old
Hey,
feedlot?
Yeah, I think so.
Get the land or
Yeah.
put a bid on land.
Yeah.
Put a bid on land or either.
He-
Yeah.
He might be interested.
I'm just saying that,
Yeah, I don't
if
think
you can put it on the back burner for a bit, it could be all project to go.
Vehicles and
You
stuff,
need
yeah.
at least a dozen big,
The first thing on their agenda.
I don't know
Oh,
what
yeah.
kind of trailers are they talking about, campers? Or are
No,
they talking about like actual?
Yeah, about 4 rooms,
So it all hooks together, it's always,
Okay.
and you'd need a good chunk.
You know, fairly big chunk of.
You need 10 acres.
I'm gonna do that. I'll do
Yeah.
that.
Well, most of, or a lot of them, I think, get 8 guys in the trailer, right?
Well, not those new ones, no, you can probably 12, 14 guys.
Oh,
Well, that one that says Franklin is a 16-man town.
is it?
Yeah, and it's just a little square.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So doors both sides coming in.
There's 4 doors, yeah.
Yeah.
4 doors, 2 hallways, central kitchen. But it's they're pretty efficiently and compactly built.
Yeah, I stayed in the one in Snow Lake there, yeah, that's pretty neat.
Yeah.
You guys for a room, is it?
You got one room, another room, and a bathroom.
It's only one now. Years ago, I remember
Oh, that's
staying
all,
in
isn't
camp, it was 8
Yeah, we had 8 in our
bunk
town.
beds and 4.
Not now.
Oh, yeah, it's
You
private.
get your own room now.
Oh, yeah.
And not
And now
having a
everybody has
shared
their own
bathroom
room.
is the
Like
is
you
the
have
one
a
now,
bathroom.
because normally it's
Yeah,
private.
sometimes you share, excuse me, there's a usually washroom sometimes in between that I stayed in,
Oh, okay.
but most of the times you have your own too, yeah. And it's changed to like,
I've never stayed in one, but I like the change.
Yeah, and then they moved that.
yeah, I used to stay in most I had was 6 guys in a room.
It's been 3 days.
Because being a good group of guys, you're not too bad, right? But if you get a couple of,
Yeah.
whatever
Yeah.
the word is, then
Yeah,
you could be bad, right?
could be bad.
That's Snow Lake there, they got me to spray all the lines. Absolutely not.
Right, right, right.
And then they moved to it 2 years later. So they had to cut all that work.
Oh.
It's like, really? I spent 3 days there. Spraying around pipes. It's like,
Did you put us in camera there or no?
No, he left.
That'd kill him too.
16 guys.
You had enough fun there.
Yeah.
He did one of these.
You're on your own.
Listen, not here.
If she could go, I could go.
They want me to come and tell them to do some work.
Really?
Somebody said that.
Really?
Yeah. One of them, I don't know who it was, but I said, no, that's nice. Then Lake even too, they asked me to come to Lake, they can do a bunch of this and then Lake. I couldn't go to Flint, so Lake.
Okay. In accordance with the section 152 paragraph, paragraphs 3 of the municipal council of the rural municipality of Rosedale, do now move in camera to discuss legal and personal matters. The time beginning
2:13.
So is it?
Yes, sir.
Do
In camera, yeah.
2:15, and authorize Hamilton to sign the sales agreement.
Yeah, cause we gotta
You gotta
buy
buy
it out.
And then they get your trade value back.
Gotta buy it, you gotta work for it, sell it.
Do I have a mover?
Moving it.
Seconder? All in favor? Carried. Do the council agree to trade in the 2012 160 M2 cab rental grader to offset the purchase price of the 2023 Cat 160 Joy BR grader as per sale agreement signed May 2022. Do I have a mover? Sure. Seconder? Jeff Henderson. All in favor? Carried. Alrighty.
Oh, do you want to have open discussion about anything before we?
I wash it.
Open discussion, I got mind the cameras on, so I'm not sure if I should spit that one out or not. Because when we did the CEO report, I'm gonna ask a question, and hopefully Melissa won't take offense to this. Are you at the shop every morning?
Every morning except yesterday morning, yeah.
Wow, that's a great period rough up my attention. I was shocked because that seems to be a lot of extra work for you. Is there something that we can do to help you out, or suggestion, or like I say, don't throw anything at me. Just if there's something that you can come up with that we can help, because it seems like you're running yourself ragged. It's my opinion only. But anybody else sees that or knows that, I don't know.
I heard about it, but I'm not gonna say nothing. It's,
Well, I
not
just
my business.
Yeah. So
Can you just call them in the morning?
I could.
I'm just curious, like with that, because the guys are pretty they're pretty good. Like, I think they're all right, but I don't know much, but you see them every morning now, so.
There's a lot of prodding in the morning to get information.
Oh, okay.
So I think once we start at 8 o'clock in the morning, because we switch over to time, November 1st, we start at 8 a.m., things will be better because it's pitch black by, at 7 in the morning when we get there, we do our little planning session. Usually I go for a show and tell in the shop here and there, when they're explaining to me what noses are and skid plates and things like those. So it makes it easier for me when I'm ordering things, but the issue is we have no foreman. So any arranging or ordering or what have you, they're giving that to me, but I already have a full-time job. So it'd be nice to have some sort of support, and I think the guys need support for a longer period of time than just getting them off in the morning. So if something breaks, it'd be nice to have somebody close by or around, or even have somebody there in the morning for a couple hours, because I can't stay there for 4 hours. I think my time is more well spent in the office.
Well, I just thought maybe Mike could maybe kind of help coordinate the other two guys.
Mike is probably good for a time, but I don't.
Just temporary until we get the foreman, like, I'm just wondering, would he help out just temporary to get a foreman?
Well, there's the other thing we had a council member show up for a couple hours in the morning just to get things going, and then
We can't do that.
gone.
That's why we got away from that. That's why Robert wasn't allowed to go there anymore. It was a conflict thing.
Yeah, I know it's a conflict, but and we're in we'll call it desperate times if you want to call it.
Unique situation.
And it's only a short-term idea, that's all.
Yeah, well, no, I'm just saying, that's why we got out of that, like, I don't mind, like, Robert was being there, the guys got off, got their stuff done, and.
I think if we're discussing personnel, though, we should be in camera.
Yeah.
We shouldn't be discussing personnel
Yeah.
type things.
We can go back in the camera.
Yeah? Oh, I got one more sheet.
No, there you go, one more sheet.
Or is there something else you want to do before we do? Or this is pretty important, okay, we'll go to the camera.
No, I don't. Is there any other topics that anybody else wants to discuss?
Well, just open discussion, I still
Yeah.
would like to have 2 loads of gravel planned in the landfill, so I don't know if we need a resolution for that, or if we just do that, because it's the whole RM, if we can't get that garbage unloaded in the
Yeah, you need
landfill. So before we go in the camera, if we need a resolution for that, or just the official okey dokey for you to call and say whomever, a couple loads of, I guess it's road gravel, but that's my own, that's my.
Probably okey-dokey's okay, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Could we fit in there?
Need it for
I wondered about that, but then with
Yeah.
cars and stuff, it might not, some of the rocks could be big, and we like to get some more feedback than we require, but it run with work-ish, but I'd rather be road gravel for the sake of complaints,
Okay.
if that's okay.
Yeah, I don't, do you guys want to do a resolution?
Does it,
Or what would you prefer?
To me, that should just be.
That's just
That's just
it's regular maintenance, right?
Regular
maintenance.
And it doesn't matter, but Rample Construction was hauling ground for Ward 6, but because this affects all of Rosedale, I don't honestly care who brings the ground. Still need to Rample had quoted my word for the haul, that this affects all of Rosedale, like I say, so it's not, well, yeah, all of Rosedale now, because the garbage is all
Everything's
coming.
coming there.
Yeah, so whoever you want to get to haul the ground,
Okay.
please.
Sounds good.
Did you hear
Last chance.
anything from Ingrid? Excuse me. About that?
Ingrid, yes, Ingrid did send me some information, so I replied back to her to
Oh.
understand what exactly
Okay.
is going to be supplied to us.
Okay.
Like, is there gonna be berm heights, is there gonna be how we're supposed to put the rocks, or how deep
Yeah.
the reservoir needs to be, or what have you, and
It's about that retention pond that we talked about, it's like Cold Spring Colony.
Oh, yes, okay.
Well, I get, excuse me, Mental Down is pushing for this big time, I guess, because hundreds are doing drainage, they say, and blah, blah, blah. And they're worried about the culverts going out again. So.
That's
but-
we looked at that big valley there that time? Okay, yeah.
We're met there the other day, and of course, we have to get a permit through watershed, correct?
I think I need to fill in an
For this project?
application,
Yeah,
and then we need to get the landowner's permission, because
Right.
it'll be on their land.
because
but
Larry's
they
gonna
will
sign
supply
off
the drawings.
on that piece of property,
Yeah, great.
They just wanna slow that water down big time before it ends.
When we were there, what the description was, that's a good idea. I mean, there's gonna be some costs involved, but I mean, it's a good idea because it's a empty spot. The
Yeah.
water can sit there,
Yeah.
though it needs to
Yeah.
not sit there no more, right?
Yeah.
And it's not gonna hurt no one, right?
They
Because it
can-
makes a big S in there, right?
Yep, a big, yeah, big S.
Yeah.
So I can fill out the watershed application and send it to her, and then hopefully that
Okay.
triggers whatever Rodney needs to do for drawings.
Okay.
Because I wanted to make sure we weren't on the hook for the engineering portion. And it sounds like, I don't know, I can't remember Rodney's last name,
White.
Yeah.
that he would be basically responsible for getting together everything
Yeah.
that we would need.
It'll be a project for next year, of course. Another thing I had is, you mentioned about the shop supplies or whatever, blades and shoes. I don't know if anybody has ever talked to the grader guys and all. But Mike was saying they have none,
We have one shoe,
one shoe.
yeah, and we have a whole bunch of blades, but not the proper length of blades. And they need to be straight, not curved.
No blades,
Not for the wings.
not for the wings.
That's
Yeah.
right, yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
I said that has to be ordered.
Yeah.
They did? All right. Yeah,
yeah, absolutely.
but we got a lot of curved blades for the graders. Yeah, we have a pile of curved blades.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
there's a half,
What?
Yeah.
there's a lot of half a bell out there.
Yeah, plus, I think he said there's some in the shed.
Yeah, I don't know what's in the shed, I was in there when I was looking at that mower the other day.
Cold storage shed there.
Because I'm gonna say it again, but they told me the other day that they would like to try curb blades, because these picks in this wetter weather are just
Yeah.
plugging up and dragging
I think they're okay in their place.
in their place.
I think you'll.
Well, I think if we got these blades, we should utilize them instead
Oh,
of
yeah.
sitting on
Try,
the
try one
pile.
or two graders, or one.
Especially coming to winter, boy, because you don't want them picks on them grader in the winter, not again. Because man, they lose all them rocks, the frozen rocks, and then they're in the good.
I mean, I seem to be the
So
only one
one
bringing it
try
up all the time, but
I
I
had
don't
read on
know.
picks is actually that the picks crush the rocks, they don't drag them out like a blade does.
No,
So I don't
picks
know.
pick all the rocks out.
Well, that's not what I had read
No,
on why
you-
everybody's switching.
You read the wrong one, because if you go out there, it looks like a freshly gravelled road after they're done, because it pulled all that stone up. But it's not blending it, it's just pulling the rocks upward, and then we're running out of rocks on the road.
There's no, that's why roads are the way they are.
Yeah, like it's,
Mud.
man, I couldn't believe this last rain, soup on the roads, it's just soup.
Well, I'm just looking at the economical part of it. I mean, if we got curb plates there, we might as well use them. Instead of buying another lift of picks.
The picks are wore out, they're like this on the grader. So if you start wearing out those pockets, that piece of,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
of board is gone, garbage.
But anyways,
But
Those
Yeah.
shoes will have to be ordered pretty shortly too, or you won't,
Yeah.
maybe we're already too late.
yeah, remember last year, eh?
Yeah,
We were late, almost.
I would try John Deere. I think they have a plant in Edmonton where those shoes come from.
Oh,
Those
I
carbide
thought
shoes.
Dianco was where I was supposed to order.
Or maybe
Dianco,
Dianco, maybe
Yeah.
they got
That's
it.
what we got from last year.
Yeah.
We got it from last year and had those wear plates put on there,
Mhm.
they're extra plates, and those work like a cat's meow. They work very well, and they did save it, so they weren't extra money to put those extra wear bars on them. So I think that's.
Yeah.
All that stuff's getting so expensive.
Yeah, everything's
It used to
expensive.
be $125 to $300 now.
Hopefully now with the graders, they'll slow down a little bit.
Hey?
Hopefully now with the graders, they'll slow down a little bit instead of starting to,
Yeah.
and then down and drag the blade on the ground to stop it from bouncing. Sorry.
So the plan was to order 10 shoes and then enough blades to do 2 graders. Because we're getting a new grader with everything, right?
Correct.
Like 10
That was the plan.
Come with all
10 shoes
three.
won't last you very long.
Pardon?
10 shoes won't last very long. You
Okay.
need 3 on each
Yep.
plow. So they can burn them off and
Well, you can burn them up in a day if you want.
Well,
They
we
shouldn't
are,
actually-
we are
they shouldn't actually be
welding
underground, right?
blades to the shoes to get more usage out of
Okay.
them, because we have a bunch of extra blades. So that's what we're doing to make the shoe last a little bit longer. So the guy said 10 should be enough, considering we're getting the new grader with brand new parts.
at least a good start.
Yeah.
Good start.
The thing is, they only do it once, like when they do a run, at least that's how it used to be. They don't do any more until next time. Like, it's not as though it's going ongoing.
Mhm.
Yeah, I guess it was hard to get them that one, do you remember? We couldn't get none.
No, you couldn't get them anywhere.
I guess put this way, ask the owner, which is a supply chain like,
Yeah.
then that makes the decision a lot easier.
Okay.
Because you know, they got lots of stock in hand, why load us up with material, right?
Yeah,
You know,
you get some once every couple of weeks, yeah.
Did that one ever get that wheel?
No,
wheels?
we canceled that idea. That was never gonna work.
Oh, really?
No, there's not enough room there. No, that was gonna get ripped off. Never did get done, I'm probably glad it didn't get done, to be honest with
So
you.
the shoe, you can put a shoe back on
Yeah, oh yeah.
it? Okay.
They didn't do anything, they just kind of set it there, they procrastinated, if you want to call it the best way to put it. And they never did put it on, and probably it's, in hindsight, it's probably a good idea.
Yeah, it comes
If
from
we would have
time to-
spent $1,500 and would have been chasing the thing, it would have been a white elephant, whatever you want to call it, so. Not enough room there for that, because you start turning over that, there's no pivot, like the capital I, you got there's,
Yeah, then you make a pivot on it.
yeah, because you got more space there, so.
Well, they make the frames fit, right?
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, we didn't do anything there. We got left and left, and then others, maybe should have, maybe they talked to somebody, whatever, doesn't matter. I said, well, it's already in April, why you do it then? Just hold off, and when this new grader thing come up, I just, yeah, save you $1,500. That's on me.
Thanks, Dave.
You're welcome. The tires that were delivered though for that, did they fit our mower or were
They fit that mower, fit a mower.
a mower?
Yeah. no.
So we're not out by holding these tires?
No, tires are usable for another application. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
On that road where this new tower is going up, I've had Watershed, Rodney out and Ingrid out, and I brought this up a couple of meetings ago. Again, some things happened in my life that never very good. And I had them out to look at this site about fixing that, used to be a bridge in there, you remember that? Carl?
Right, yeah.
And we took that bridge out, well, juries fell through that bridge last year at harvest time.
Right.
So we took it out and we tapered her down, brought a bunch of rock in, and then covered her with shale. And it's been not bad, but it
Needs work.
Yeah. But I never carried it on to get a couple of contractors, 2 or 3 or however many, to give me a quote.
Okay.
We need a dig down to about 40 feet each way. And they both suggested bigger stone than we put in. And then covered up with some more material and then a load or 2 of gravel. And that should make it a decent crossing, because the only other thing is a great big culvert. You know what one of those is for. There's very little traffic.
So do we need to license that, Robert, or is that just their suggestion?
I forget what the story was on the license, and she said we didn't need to do anything.
Okay.
That's what Ingrid said.
Okay.
So I'll try and get some prices before it frees up. But I mean, it's no problem, you can go through there, juries go there all the time, because they rent that yard with,
Just make it better, just to make it more permanent.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I know you mentioned it before, we should get it fixed up.
been kind of tough with all our shortage of employees.
I know.
So just for clarity, do I need to reach out to Watershed on that project, or we can just do what we need to do?
Oh, the one I was talking about, I got their approval, like they both agreed if we did what they suggested, that the project could go ahead. And that's.
In writing? We have approval in writing?
I never got anything in writing, but I had them both out to the site.
Up to Ingrid.
I don't.
She don't do
I
that.
Don't like that little shake the hand.
She said she had no questions. She,
Yeah.
look,
Well, this way,
Leave an email, right?
Melissa
Yeah,
asks,
just an
and
email.
I'll kind of give you what they want, their suggestions of what should be done. He'll give you the full detail of it.
Yeah, that's a good
And you're
idea.
good to go.
Sure.
You're golden then.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what road? Does anybody, I can look up.
Road to the new tower.
Weren't you paying attention
I know.
before?
I didn't bring the
89, 80.
88.
88?
Is that right?
88.
Yeah.
88 west.
Off of the 265.
Yeah, off 265.
Okay, guys.
So,
That road over there.
You're testing my skills.
265 and then go south.
Yeah.
Just a short ways though.
Yeah, very sure.
So is this crossing gonna get us to the new tower too?
And what?
Will this crossing get us to the new tower
Oh,
too?
yeah, you
Oh,
can
we
drive
gotta
through
fix
there
it.
right away.
We gotta fix that.
Yeah,
There we go.
we want to keep it so that, 'cause I don't think once they get the tower
It's just a
constructed,
radio
they're not
tower,
out there
it's
very
not-
much.
No, yeah, just a check.
Or, it's just a radio tower, it's not south.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I got a question for you.
Sure.
So I recently received a phone call from Lee Hill here, about the intersection of 86 North and 91 West. And it's talking about it hadn't been mowed, isn't graded, needs some brush removal and whatnot.
That's a willow patch that we were supposed to get done last year, didn't get done.
So that's still, I just want to make sure, because I don't have my notes with me when I'm on the highway. So I just wanted to make sure that that was the one that we talked about last time. Or is that on the books still to get done?
Yeah, that's in my report, so we're gonna wait for Frieza because there's
That's the one.
cattails and stuff in
There's
there.
cattails and
I
there's
know.
rocks in there.
That's wet rocks.
Is that the
Yeah,
one we looked at, Carl?
Yeah, and when we talked about this before, they decided to take a cat in there. Level it off, because there's just too much rocks to take that mower in there. Our bush hog is finished apparently. So,
yeah, so that, I have outstanding work in the CEO report and the Batiliers is on there.
Okay,
So
cool.
that's in line. And then also Delaloy's, we wanna wait for
Yeah.
Frieza there because I think.
I
it's
figured
wet.
so, like,
Yeah. And there's not a lot of brush on our side.
I know.
It's mostly on their side.
that's
so-
why I took pictures for you to show you.
Yeah. There might
But-
be 5-6 feet of brush on our property and then the rest will be on their private side.
And there's a fence there too, so
Yeah, so we'll try to brush it back when it's,
at least this way when it comes to
Yeah.
spring or whatever, there's no
yes.
brush there. At least it'll go through the ditch and to the culvert. We can't help what's on the fair line.
Mhm.
okay, do we go in camera again?
Sure.
You can't hold it.
Okay, do you want me to read this again?
Oh, please.
I already heard you read it.
Okay, moved by Jeff Emerson.
Ron.
Second, Drew. Robert Scott. All in favor? Carried. Yeah. You just figure out your mileage
Yeah, I
and
have
stuff.
it, it's all printed out, it just needs
Couple of signatures and stamp.
signatures, yeah.
That we now adjourn this regular meeting at 3:39. To meet again on regular meeting of November the 10th, 2023 at 10 a.m. Do I have a mover? Robert Scott, seconder Dave Tedder. All in favor? Carried. Thank you, gentlemen.